Welcome to the Saturday Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Tam McManus is with me, and right through till 6 o'clock, reporters will bring you a comprehensive roundup of the games in the Scottish Premiership. We will keep you up to date with all the half-times and the full-time reports from all four divisions in Scotland. We'll take a quick look at what's happening in England as well, and we'll also bring you reaction from the managers and players across those games in the top flight in Scotland. So, lots to talk about. Here's a quick rundown before we get some of those reports on the Scottish Premiership and what's been happening in there. Aberdeen 1, Motherwell 0, Hearts 0, Dundee United 1, Livingston 3-0 up in their match and comfortable against Kilmarnock. And then it's Rangers 1, Ross County 0 and St Mirren 0. Hibernian 0. So early reaction to that is the big one that's catching my eye. Tam, is Livingston romping it?
Yeah, listen, I think we all speak about Dave Martindale on this show. I think he's very underrated. I think that Livingston as a team are underrated. Their home record's outstanding. Kilmarnock's away record has been very poor, so I think both of us put Livy in the predictor. So I think we're safely get 5 points there, but continues to punch above his weight at Livingston.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel Newbley scoring, and then Bruce Anderson and Stephen Kelly, who came from Rangers. But Bruce Anderson, certainly I think from Livingston's point of view, he's been a good buy, and we all know the qualities of Newbley.
Yep, he was unlucky the other night, Bruce Anderson. He not to score at Celtic Park at the post, so Newbley just back from injury. And Stephen Kelly's a good young player from Rangers, so they've got a strong squad, Livingston, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get a quick roundup of some of those games. First of all, we can head to St Mirren because it's not an eventful game, but Patrick Mullen's been watching it for us.
I'm here at the Smythe Stadium, and it is St Mirren 0, Hibernian 0. An uneventful first 45 minutes of football with both sides creating half chances, but nothing more. Hibs had the best chance of the game with an Adi McGeady free kick from about just a yard outside of the box, but that one went just wide. St Mirren had a late resurgence and Curtis Main with a strike, but that was easily saved by the Hibs goalkeeper. A disappointing first half of football. Let's hope that one will improve. At half time it is St Mirren 0, Hibernian 0.
Half time here at Ibrox and the scoreline reads.
No. We'll go back to Kerry. I think we're going to get it. Yeah, he's gone early, but here's Kerry.
Half time here at Ibrox and the scoreline reads Rangers 1, Ross County 0. Rangers could have took the lead early on through Borna Barisic, but his effort was just over the bar. That was then followed by a shot from Todd Cantwell, a beautiful strike towards goal after Malik Tillman's shot was blocked. The former Norwich midfielder was there, but it just went over the bar as well. Ross County haven't troubled the Rangers backline too much, or John McLaughlin and the Rangers goal, but it was Malik Tillman who got the goal in the first half just in the nick of time, and added time was Morelos onto Cantwell, cross into Tillman, and he's getting goal number 8 in a Rangers jersey. As it stands here, half time at Ibrox, Rangers 1, Ross County 0.
Yeah, well done to Kerry for getting above the public address system. But Rangers had 77% possession in the first half, so they've got their just reward.
Yeah, I think they're dominating the game, dominating the ball, and there's only so long you can defend. When you go to Parkhead and Ibrox, you've got to have a threat at the other end. I think Ross County had a couple of half chances, but it seems to be all Rangers, and I think if they get the next goal just after half time, then that game will be done.
Yeah, I can't tell you, it's Livingston 3, Kilmarnock 1. Just as they start the second half, Christian Doidge has scored.
Wow, brilliant for him.
Even he said wow.
He has had a colossal drought, big Christian. I think that's his first goal in a long time. So, you know, is that him back in the game? You never know.
No.
I think Derek McInnes would have torn the wallpaper off in there. And 3-0 down at half time. They were 2-0 after about 10 minutes. So he's got a reaction out of them. They've come back, and he'll probably be saying, listen, just win the second half, see where it goes.
Yeah, hi to Paul Brady. Bob Miller joins us as well. David Russell. Catherine Kelly is in sunny Spain. Hi to you, Catherine. There's so many people. Greetings from Japan, says Del Boy in Tokyo, that's good going, isn't it, Tam? I love it.
That's a place I'd like. Have you been to Tokyo before?
No, is it good?
I've never been, but it's on my bucket list. I'd like to go.
Well, let's hope Del Boy's get a 3-bedroom apartment.
Del Boy, if you've got a spare room, come here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's find out what was happening in that game at Tynecastle. Here's Adam Binney.
Half time here at Tynecastle Park. It's Hearts 0, Dundee United 1. It's 10-man Dundee United who enter the break with the lead. The Hearts fans have just booed the players off the pitch. They went behind after just 9 minutes through Stephen Fletcher. Niskanen done very well on the left hand side to try and cut the ball back. Looked as though the Hearts defender. He just nicked in front of Stephen Fletcher. He attempted a sliding interception, but that interception fell into the path of Fletcher. He was able to slide it under the legs of Xander Clark to make it 1-0. He then celebrated right in front of the Hearts fans. An ex-Hibs player, of course, is Stephen Fletcher. But after going ahead, Dundee United, it was so positive. They were all over the home side, but they went down to 10 men on the half-hour mark when Ryan Edwards, the captain, was shown a red card for a high challenge on Andy Halliday. It looked as though he came in just above the ankle, halfway up the leg of Andy Halliday. The referee, Nick Walsh, initially didn't give anything at all, but after deliberating with VAR, he decided that a red card was the correct punishment to show the Dundee United captain. Thereafter, Hearts had more of the ball, as you would have expected, but they couldn't create any chances, and it was actually Dundee United that had the final 2 chances of the half. Stephen Fletcher was played in directly from a goal kick, tried to lob Xander Clark, put it over the top, and another.
We'll come back to Adam, but nevertheless, we'll come back to him at full time actually. But I don't know if you noticed there, his camera, it was the shadow is going right across his face. Looked as if he was actually growing a beard moustache while doing the report there.
Made chance of him growing a beard moustache. You need to get the cats to lick it off.
But
someone who's got a little.
I know exactly. I know. Just about to say,
beard myself.
You have a long hard look at yourself. So let's go through the other score lines from right across the Scottish leagues Championship, and here's how it looks. It's Arbroath 1, Raith Rovers 0, Hamilton 1, Dundee 1. Hamilton were a goal up in that match. It's Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Greenock Morton 1. Cally, of course, reinstated into the Scottish Cup. Partick Thistle 0, Cove Rangers 1, which is great news for Paul Hartley, because week in, week out, Sam, we've been listening to him getting an absolute tonking.
They have been getting a few tankings, and as I said, that was a massive result for Cove. But Partick Thistle, what's happening with them? I mean, we all thought they were going to be title contenders.
Well,
and
you know why they're not, don't you? Because Ruffy's not on the board. It's as simple as that. You want success, get the legend on.
Well, there you go, there's one there for you at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. Reading 0, Watford 2, Ryan Porteous has scored. That is incredible. And knowing Ryan, he's gone up to the Reading fans and given them what for. Because he's always been a Watford fan. What about the League One? Let's have a look and see how that's faring. Airdrieonians 0, Clyde 0, Alloa 1, Peterhead 0, Dunfermline 1, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. I wonder if you can guess who scored.
For Kelty?
Yeah.
Higginbotham?
Yes, absolutely.
Well done.
Falkirk.
Case.
You're absolutely on fire. I like
yes,
We've had him on the show.
He's a great guy.
I like him. Good to the South 0, FC Edinburgh 0. I like FC Edinburgh. I've done their dinner a couple of times and then get bombed.
I done one and it didn't go doing well, so I'm never going back.
I think I was there with you. Okay, what about League 2? League 2 in Scotland, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Annan Athletic 2. Bonnyrigg Rose were flying until Tam and I went and did their dinner, and they're on a downward spiral. East Fife 0, Stirling Albion 0, Elgin City 0, Albion Rovers 1, Forfar 1, Stranraer 0, and Stennismuir 0, Dumbarton 1. So that's how it looks in the Scottish League. What about the English Premier League? There are a few unbelievable scorelines coming in. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0 from last night. Everton 1, Arsenal 0. Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 3. Everton 1-0 against Arsenal, full-time result by the way. Brentford 2, Southampton 0. Brighton 0, Bournemouth 0. Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 0. Fernandes with a goal. And look at this one. Tam, Wolves 2, Liverpool 0. Newcastle United, West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Leeds. Obviously later kickoffs, and Tottenham against Man City tomorrow to look forward to. But what about that Wolves score?
Yeah, I mean, Jurgen Klopp, he must be under pressure. I mean, we speak about it every week. He must be.
No, he's not under
He's sitting 11th in the league.
Listen, they could win the Champions League. I can tell you, Queen of the South have scored 1-0 against Edinburgh. No sooner have we talked about how we did the Edinburgh dinner, and they're getting battered as well now. This is great news for us all. Anyway, that's League One, Queen of the South 1, Edinburgh 0. I mean, I know what you're saying. He could win the Champions League, but
he's not going to win the Champions League.
Jurgen Klopp is not going to. I was going to say Stefan Kloss. Where did I get that from? Jurgen Klopp is not going to get sacked by Liverpool. They've got a steady board and they're sensible. So I said to you, Del Boy is in Japan. Quadruple, you can understand where his tag comes from. He says, greetings from the hills of Donegal. Jason Craig says, afternoon guys from Aberdeen, great for you to join us, Jason. We've got fans from near and far. Mary McCormick's on. Tony Holton says to us, it's soggy in Greenock at the moment.
By the way, driving out here today.
The weather's mental, isn't it?
Wild mental.
It's absolutely outrageous, and thank you to so many of you who've said, and Brian has said, Ryan Porteous just scored for Watford. And Tony says, clock to go, you nugget. Don't be so silly. Tony, I'm with you, right, by the way. Tony, you know your football. I mean, who?
Pop out.
No. Jason Craig says, did Tam, when he was at Hibs, ever get the chance to sign for the Dons?
No.
You weren't that bad?
No, I wasn't that bad. I scored a couple against Aberdeen. I scored a couple for Hibs against Aberdeen. I scored one for Dundee against Aberdeen, a late equaliser. I always liked playing up at Pittodrie, but I never had a great record up there with different teams.
Our production team have just said in my ear, did you ever play in America? Because it's becoming your catchphrase now.
Back when I played in America, I played over there. Turned into Dennis Lawrence in Italy.
I know, when I played for Torino. But I'll tell you, thanks to so many people. Listen, we could have a full summer holiday here, by the way. Tell Tam, Jason says, to shave off that bum fluff. Absolutely.
Fair enough.
James Feeney says, afternoon Peter and Tam from a dull London. I haven't got a spare room. Has anybody got a spare room in London? Bring sleeping bags and use the floor. James, that's exactly what Tam and I could do. And I have to say, Jason, obviously an Aberdeen fan. Well, Aberdeen, you know, Duke is, is a player that I really like, Tam. I don't know about yourself, but, when he's got it, he's 12 goals this season in a very poor Aberdeen side.
Him and Miofsky have been the two for Aberdeen, two good signings. Unfortunately, they've been terrible defensively. But I was just listening to the radio on the way in, and Aberdeen were all over Motherwell. It seemed that there was only a matter of time before the goal came, and it did just before half time. And if they can get another one quickly after half time, then I don't see Motherwell coming back for that.
No, I agree with you on that one. But obviously they've got John Obika and Jack H. And Obika travelled a heck of a long time from Morecambe through the night just to get there and get photographed in a strip signing for Motherwell. Likes to take the ball in his left foot. Big bulky guy. He's going to need a bit of time to get used to things. Duke Lopez and Bojan Miofsky up front for Aberdeen.
I'll tell you a quick story about John Obika.
Go on then.
Right, I was a free agent. I went down in trial with Yeovil Town.
Yeah.
Didn't get a deal, but I trained with them for a week, and there was two young Spurs loanees on loan at them at the time who I trained with alongside. One was John Obika, another one was Andros Townsend, and they both. Well, I think Andros Townsend obviously went on a better career than John Obika, but both of them were at Yeovil as young players on loan, and they both had to sing a song. And Jonathan Obika, without doubt, is the worst singer I've ever heard in my life.
Is that right?
Yes, horrendous. Yeah. But I know it's a crap story, but that was...
Yeah, you had to be there, folks. It's not
Andros Townsend was quality.
One of those ones you just stare at the telly and going, where are you going with this, Tom? So that's that moment. Paddy Devlin says, you can come to Kirkintilloch, guys. Paddy, have you fallen out with us? I mean, honestly.
I'm wrong with Kirky.
We're looking for exotic.
Not Kirky.
We're looking for Kirky. How? Is that what you were brought up?
No, I was Ballarnock, and I lived in Bishop Briggs, and Kirky's the next one up.
Yeah, I think we did a Live Aid concert for you to raise money for you all. Anyway, so I'm from Lanarkshire. You're ill.
Lanarkshire.
Hey,
you're ill.
Some of the best footballers.
It's not exactly Chelsea, is it?
Listen, by the way, some of the best footballers in the area have come from here. You don't get any better than here, by the way. It's unbelievable. Billy McNeil, Bobby Murdoch, Jimmy Johnston, Gary McAllister.
Came from Newton Hill?
Well, they passed through, but they were born here. They were born in the area. It's all Lanarkshire.
Glasgow, I guess.
No, not Glasgow. Bellshill Maternity. That's where everybody was born. So I have to say to you, thanks to so many of you. David Russell says, Klopp to Aberdeen.
Not that bad.
So you're going to get battered by Aberdeen fans, by the way. Anyway, lots of scores coming in, lots of good updates to give you right across the afternoon. We'll have a good laugh because I don't know if anybody remembers it, by the way, but football is an entertainment, Tam, and you like to have a wee bit of banter with people who interact with us, and you also like to give your opinion. We want people to offer their opinion, providing, of course, they don't lose the heat and start saying things that are stupid.
That's it. I've got to interact with people. If they've got any questions, phone Fire away.
Yeah,
as long as it's within reason.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, talking of questions, I might as well give you the quiz question for today, which is how many times did Ronaldo the Brazilian win the Ballon d'Or? Do you want to have a wee guess at that? Fantastic player, you know. Go on,
It's a trick question, just like none or something.
No, he has won it. Good.
3.
3. You're going for 3. Okay. There you are. There's the quiz question. It's how many times has the Brazilian Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or? Give us your guess at it, and we'll give you the answer at the end of the programme. Of course, this is the last day and your last chance to get onto that competition. If you hit the subscribe button, well, there's no point me telling you. I'll let Kerry tell you.
It's another fantastic competition from PLZ Soccer. If you would like to win this replica Luka Modric shirt, then all you have to do is answer this simple question. Just tell us, which country does Luka Modric play for? Post your answer in the comment section below, and to double your chances of winning, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. And I have to tell you, Tam, that the prize next week we managed to get hold of. We managed to get one book, and I thought, well, I can't have one book without the other.
Put 2 books through there.
Oh, we got
flick through them.
They're really good, aren't they?
Aye.
So it's the classic history of the Celtic jersey and the Rangers jersey, right throughout the years, and you know, and for many people, their generation, they'll look and they'll say that was the strip that I used to wear when I grew up, when I was growing up, and then their kids want it because they want to be like their dad. Or in fact they want to be like their mum, because it was actually my mum that took me to see football, not my dad. So you can obviously have a flick through it, but there's a Celtic one and a Rangers one, and we're giving it away. And the only thing you actually have to do is just in the quiz next week, the competition, all you have to do is say which book you want. It doesn't get any easier.
You don't get sent the wrong book.
Eh? Yeah.
Well, I get that one mixed up.
Absolutely.
Celtic fan get the Rangers book and vice versa.
Yeah, I don't think that would go down well if it gets in there. And also, David Russell says, I would play this, he says, but I doubt PLZ will pay the shipping to America. David, you're so astute, it defies belief. I'm hoping that people actually just think, okay, we'll have it closer to home. Sorry about that, David, but I can tell you it's a goal for Inverness Cally Thistle. They're 1-0 up in Morton in the Championship. Oh, is it 1-1 now? Yep, just gone 1-1. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Billy Mackay, he's been all around the north, Billy. He's a good professional.
No, a good striker. Good goals record over the last few years. Ross County, Inverness seems to like that region. Yep, the Highlands, the fresh air up there, and it could be a big goal for Inverness. Yeah, absolutely. Can I just at this moment say that I want to send all our best wishes from everyone who works on PLZ Soccer to Ron Gordon, the chairman of Hibernian. This is the statement that was released yesterday. For most of this past year, I've been receiving treatment for cancer. It has been a difficult time for me and the family, but I'm blessed to have their love and support as we navigate through the challenge. We all stick together to get through these difficult times. Whilst undergoing the treatment, I've remained in daily contact with our Chief Executive Ben Kensel, who continues to run the club with the support of the board. That will remain the case as we continue to move forward on a variety of initiatives to further advance the club. I want to assure you that our family's commitment to the club's long-term success remains absolute, and I will be back with you at Easter Road as soon as my treatment allows. So I think everybody in the football world shares that sentiment. Get well soon, Ron Gordon. Yeah, listen, terrible news for him and his family. Hopefully he'll obviously be getting the treatment he needs over in America, and let's hope he pulls through it, because he's come in, he's bought Hibs, he's put a lot of money into Hibs. Unfortunate results on the part haven't been great, but he's certainly put his money in his pocket. The stadium now is different class. You've been there yourself, with the big screens and the hospitality. Unfortunately for him, the results in the part haven't been great, but everything else has been great for Hibs. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Patrick. He says, I love the Saturday show. Thank you very much. We have been really making moves to try and give you as many different programmes as possible, to watch the content, to share in our news, which any breaking news comes up on the app. You'll have it at your fingertips if you download PLZ. You can actually watch the show on your phone, on your tablet and PC. If you download the app, then you can certainly enjoy it on the move with your phone at your fingertips, all the news, and of course you get all the features and the video in there too. And if you get into submissions, you can actually record yourself saying something to us. It'll drop in
to us, and if we like what you've got to say, we'll put you up on the screen, and we'll get to see your face, which is always good. Tam, there's been a few that we've got.
I'd like to see a few videos.
Oh, absolutely, but over and above that, we've actually, a lot of people have sent us, maybe some of their family are doing really well, and some of them have sent us their man caves, which is brilliant.
Yep. That's something maybe in the next few years I'll be looking to get a big man cave.
Yeah, absolutely.
The wife would allow it, but I'd like it. I'd like one.
Well, I think if you want to get a man cave, you've got to be in control in the marriage, which clearly, as we all know, you are not in control in that marriage. So I don't think there's any man cave. We'd need to start a Just Giving page and then do a feature. And then do a feature. Help Tam get his man cave. It's not happening. Thanks to so many people who've also actually just said that they pass on their best wishes to Ron Gordon, which is absolutely greatly appreciated. I think the great thing about football, it's only a game, it's only your team, it's not life or death, and I think the football community generally just suddenly come together when it's something like that, because it is, after all, only a game and a sport that we love.
Yeah, it is. Listen, it's only a game of football. Your health's your wealth, as they say. You've got to be healthy, and football's something that we all love in this country. It's a very important sport for everyone, but your health's the most important thing. And I seen Hearts putting a tweet out, wishing Ron all the best, which I thought was nice as well.
Yep.
Rivalry goes out the window at times like this. You want him to recover fully and get back on track and get back over and watch his club.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Dunfermline 2, Montrose 0 there. James McPake's side are firmly in control there, and of course James McPake knows all about the guy who scored for Dunfermline, because he had him up there and knew all about Whiten, who scored the goal, Craig Whiten, because he played at Dundee. I thought he was going to be a sensation when he was a kid.
Yep.
Burst into the team at 16.
He got Hearts as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just lost. Well, he picked up a bad injury and lost his way a wee bit.
Yeah, but as I said, League One, I think this could be a very important day in League One. Falkirk getting beat, Dunfermline winning. I think the gap could grow to 8 points if the results stay the same. But that could be a big result for Dunfermline. Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned there about the fact that the football community comes together, Tam, because I was big friends with Tommy Burns, and you only have to look at the likes of Ali McCoist and Walter Smith, and the people who carried his coffin. They were together at Scotland. And that's when it puts everything into perspective. They have every year the Tommy Burns Supper, and the Burns family all come together. And there's in East Kilbride, everybody got together last night, and myself and Jackie McNamara and Chris Sutton shared a few memories of Tam and told a few mental stories. It was a right good laugh, and I think the Burns family really appreciated that the money that was made for the mascot charity, which is for raising funds for skin cancer.
Yeah, listen, I think anybody that ever encountered Tommy or was in his company knew what a great guy he was, and I think you've seen that with all the stories coming out after he passed away. There's nobody with a bad word to say about Tommy Burns, and as you said, Walter Smith, Ali McCoy's carrying his coffin, said it all. Rivalries went out the window from the other side of the city. So no, Tommy was an absolute gentleman, great family, and I'm glad you had a good night and raised a few quid. Yeah, absolutely. It was a great night and some really funny stories as well. I have to tell you, Man United are 2-0 up now in Crystal Palace. Marcus Rashford with the goal down south in the English Premier League. Flying, isn't he? Yeah, absolutely. Playing for a move. I think he's out of contract. Or he's. Yeah, I think. I must admit though, he could go anywhere actually. He's good. Very good. I like him. He got dragged down with Man United were poor, weren't they, for a couple of seasons and changed managers, and he was just dragged down with a lot of the players, even Fernandes. But I think you've seen him. Fernandes had a great World Cup with Portugal, and Rashford a good World Cup with England. So took that back into Man United. East Fife 1, Stirling Albion 1. That's in the Scottish League 2. Jack Healy scoring the goal in that match. I can also pass on my best wishes to Lyndon Dykes because he's been released from hospital. He was in for over a week. The club haven't given any details about his condition, but of course he was taken off in the 1-1 draw with Swansea, and we wish him well. I think everyone hoping that Lyndon Dykes is back fit and available when Scotland start kicking the ball again. Yeah, it was a strange one. I think it was pneumonia or something he was in the hospital with, so he was obviously ill, and I said hopefully he's recovered now, he's out the hospital and he can get back fit again, because we've got big games coming up in March, qualifier, so hopefully he's fit and ready for them.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that was great about last night, Tam, because we were raising money, and you know what it's like, auction items, great signed strips. I made an absolute fortune. I think I must have raised 10, 20, 30,000 pounds because I managed to get the 6 exclusive Jim Baxter shirts that were worn in the 1967 match between Scotland and England.
Since that came out, everybody's just pulling a Jim Baxter shirt.
It's bananas, isn't it? I mean, I really do feel for the lad who obviously had the strip and the authenticity and the backing of McTears. We did a feature on it for them. It was great, but they had to pull it because there was just too many people coming out with other strips that they claim.
You don't want to pay the big money and then somebody pulls it, another strip, and there's a bit of conjecture about whether that's the one he wore.
Yeah.
So I think it's right that they get a certificate of authenticity, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. The certificate of authenticity. Well, I think the great thing about it, I don't know if you ever watched that programme, it's called Fake or Fortune.
No.
It's just Fiona Bruce and another guy, and they just basically look at brilliant paintings and work out whether they're fakes or fortune. Yeah. And they always say provenance. If there's a story attached to it and it leads directly back to this is definitely the artist who painted it. And I think with the Jim Baxter one, I think there's a really good chance if he's handed it over after the game to Alan Ball, and then you can track that where the strip's gone from there, you're in with a good shout. So goal to Aberdeen, I can tell you, Miowski has added the second, and I just couldn't see Motherwell win today at all, Tam.
No, I said we spoke about it yesterday. I fancied Aberdeen strong. I just think Motherwell are in free fall at the minute. They're leaking goals. They can't score goals. You obviously like the game during the week.
Yep.
I spoke to another couple of Motherwell fans who I know and saying they've got nothing about them at the minute, and it's really, really worrying if you're a Motherwell fan, and worrying for, Stephen Hamill and Brian Kerr. I keep saying it, they're big pals of mine, and I really, really want them to do well, but it's just not going well for them.
Yeah, Arbroath won, Wraith Rovers won, Scott Brown scoring the goal for Wraith Rovers, the equalising goal. Although I have to say, when you mentioned that name, Scott Brown, he's down there at Fleetwood, the other Scott Brown, and he's just there's a softer side to him now. He's just decided to grow this big mop of black hair.
It's brilliant because I text him every time I see him. I think he's uncomfortable when he's talking. Every time I see him on the telly, I text him. I say, "What was that word you just said there?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. He's grown his hair. He's got a suit on." He's totally changed for that snarling Celtic captain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you know, he's not that type of person.
No, not at all.
Perception and reality are totally different. So I'm just looking there, Tam, giving you a quick update just in case you're unaware of it. Aberdeen leading now by 2-0 against Motherwell. Hearts still trailing by that Stephen Fletcher goal for Dundee United. Livingston 3-1 up on Kilmarnock, and I can tell you, it's Jordan White who's just equalised for Ross County in that match against Rangers. Rangers won, Ross County won. That is a blow.
Big Rangers fan, I know, Jordan White for East Kilbride.
Yeah, is he from East Kilbride?
Yeah, I think it's not that way.
But isn't it amazing how you highlight the people who played football from your area? But I have to tell you, it's obviously nice of you to mention that Jordan White's a Rangers fan. He'll be able to walk about when he comes
I think he's self-proclaimed.
Yeah, okay then.
Sorry, Jordan.
St Mirren
just outed him.
St Mirren 0, Hibs 0. Poor Patrick's gone to a game at the Smysa Stadium, and it's just, despite his excitement, there's nothing happening.
The only positive for that is it's going to be a very, very quick full-time report if it's 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next.
Yeah. Exactly. 442 comes out every month. I don't know if you're a big fan of that. I used to collect that magazine. I still get it now digitally and read it online as well. You could
£8 or something now.
It is expensive, but it was a good read. There's lots of very good journalists who contribute to it. But they've done a feature on the top 50 greatest players of all time. So they've rejigged it now, and just because it's in 442 doesn't mean it's set in stone. But they've rejigged it.
I know what you're going to say here.
Well, calm down.
You're an absolute Pele fanboy. Is he number one?
Pele.
Is he number one?
They've rejigged it.
Right.
Pele was number one before. It's now Messi.
Right.
Messi's number one.
Right, so I'll take that as gospel.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? Pele is number 2 in their book. Maradona's number 3. Ronaldo from Portugal's number 4. Then it's Cruyff at number 5. And they've got Zidane, then Beckenbauer, Di Stefano, Ronaldo the Brazilian, and George Best. That's the top 10. Some people might agree with that. Some people don't. I mean, I like 442. It's a good read sometimes. but they've lost the plot here.
No, I think they're spot on.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah. How many 17-year-olds scored?
He scored 1,000 goals in 500 won bounce games.
Yeah. He
I scored 115 bounce games.
Yeah.
In 82 in my career.
Absolutely, but
so I could have been in the top 100.
Your 150 goals were in 5-a-side games. Pelé was absolutely magnificent, and there's no doubt about it. He's number one, and you need to have a look. Some people forget looking back in history.
I've seen a lot of his videos.
Yeah.
I used to have a video of the VHS. I used to watch it. My dad had all the videos, the football videos, and the ball coming up for a bit of string, and it was showing you him jumping, the leap.
Yeah.
He was so athletic as well. I think he was the one out of them all that could have played in the present day.
Yeah.
I think he was quick and he looked really fit and all.
Yeah. By the way, can I just say something to you? The roof is caved in here. It's Aberdeen 3-0 against Motherwell. I mean, that is big. There's big problems with Stephen Hamill. I mean, in midweek, I like Stephen Hamill, and I'm not going to say he's a good lad because that's my catchphrase at the moment. But he is a good lad, and he looked as if he was staring into the abyss.
It doesn't. I felt really sorry for him. I think he's obviously been thrust into it a wee bit. It's his first job. He's a club legend. Played over 400 games with him, and I think that's why he's maybe getting a wee bit more slack from the Motherwell fans. But the last couple of performances, the supporters are not going to put up with that, and I think he looks lost at the minute. He really does, and it's sad to see.
What about Miovski? 16 goals for the season.
Brilliant. Great signing. And Aberdeen had the one last season. Who was a big boy for the American lad to sign? What was his name? They just get sent back to America. Ramirez.
Yeah.
They had him last year. He scored a lot of goals. They've got Miovski this year. And sadly for Aberdeen, defensively has let them down because they've got a goal on them. I think that's been proven this season.
Yeah.
Duke and Miovski scored a lot of goals, so that's a real bad result for Motherwell.
Yeah, it's a real bad result for Liverpool. I think Klopp could get the sack. 3-0 down against Wolves.
You just said to me 10 minutes ago at 2-0.
I'm changing my mind. No, I'm not. There's no way. There's no way he's getting the sack, but something's gone wrong here. It's woeful.
They've chucked it.
I don't know, there's something wrong. At the end...
Andy Robertson will come out after it and say apologise again. Does it every
honestly,
week?
what happens
They just move him out?
if you lose a game, they roll out a Scot. I mean, but the one thing I was going to say to you about Liverpool is the back line. I mean, it used to be rock solid. It's gone haywire at the moment. And even Trent Alexander-Arnold has been hooked. He's been hooked in a couple of games as well.
He's obviously a quality player, but defensively, some of the goals that I see, he's just walking, the runners are running off him. I don't think he's a right back. I'd play him further forward, but that's a moot point now. He's off.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, it's they're really up against it down south as well. And with that, did you see the Everton result coming? 1-0 against Arsenal?
No, I didn't.
Suddenly that opens it up. City can win at Tottenham.
Big Daichi. I knew we'd get a reaction out of them, Everton.
Hearts have scored. Lawrence Shankland heading for the 30. Will he get it before the end of the season?
Yes.
And will he become Player of the Year?
Ooh, depends how many goals Kyogo gets.
Yeah, but what if he scores 30 in a Hearts?
If he scores 30 goals for Hearts, he's Player of the Year. 100%.
What if Kyogo scores 30?
He's Shankland.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good point. Actually.
It's so much harder to score 30 for Hearts than it's for Celtic.
Well, I was going to say to you, that's why I threw it there for you. It's an interesting one. Shankland again, though. He's been... take the penalties out of it. He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. No, he has. He's been a tremendous signing for them. We've said it many times before. A young player at Aberdeen didn't really make it at Aberdeen. Had to drop down, and to be fair to him, he went to Ayr United to be Ian McCall, and he absolutely battered goals in. He got them into the Championship, and very, very good side. So no, I think he's a tremendous player.
Yeah, that's 21. For the season.
Was that a pen? No.
No.
Was it open play?
So 21. That's good going, isn't it?
Oh, tremendous! Just the start of February.
Absolutely. And Kyogo's on 21 before they head to Perth to take on St Johnstone tomorrow.
Yep. As I said, if you've got a striker like that, Peter, scoring 20-25 goals, you're going to be competing at the top end.
But I have to mention just one thing though, just in case you've forgotten that Dundee United are down to 10 men in that match. There was a red card in the first half of that. Ryan Edwards sent off after a check on VAR, so he was sent off, and it's now Hearts 1, Dundee United 1, so they've paid the penalty for losing the player, and Hearts have really capitalised with that extra man.
Yeah, and I think you would fancy Hearts now with 20 minutes to go against 10 men. He might be going to win that game now, so all the momentum is with Hearts. But Stephen Fletcher missed a great chance at 1-0 to Dundee United, which would have changed the game, but you'd fancy Hearts to maybe go and win that now.
Yeah, and the other thing I was just about to say to you is with probably about 20 minutes of the games left, Tam, Rangers need to somehow find a goal from somewhere, because quite simply you cannot offer Celtic an incentive, to go 11 points clear potentially the next day if that were to end in a draw.
Yeah, particularly when you see how well they played against Hearts during the week.
Yeah.
A lot of people would just assume they turned up and wiped the floor with Ross County, but Malky Mackay's a very shrewd manager. He's went in there, he's shaped up well, stayed in the game at 1-0. It only takes one chance and you're back in the game, you're level, and they got that. So, there's still a long way to go, 20 minutes to go. Ibrox, I'd assume Rangers will be piling the pressure on, but they've simply got to win every game if they've got any chance to win the league. Yeah,
Arbroath 1, Raith Rovers 2. Conor McBride scoring to put Rovers in front. Arbroath were actually in front in that match, but it's turned on its head. And I can tell you, Motherwell have been awarded a penalty, quick VAR check, and suddenly a penalty kick for Motherwell. So it might give them a wee consolation. I do not believe for a minute that there's any way back for them when you consider that Miovski's been on fire there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there's enough time left. But for Aberdeen, they'll be disappointed. I don't think they've kept many clean sheets this season, and that's another one.
Yeah, Rangers got a free kick in a dangerous position. Could be a chance for them. Whether they can capitalise on it, only time will tell. But it's 1-1 at Ibrox. Adam Binney's at Tynecastle, Kerry Pollock's at Ibrox. Patrick Mullen is actually out there as well at St Mirren. I can tell you Kevin Van Veen has scored from the penalty spot, which makes it Aberdeen 3, Motherwell 1.
Yeah, get some a wee bit of consolation, I think, but I don't see them coming back into the game with 10-15 minutes left. Although Aberdeen are poor at the back, I don't think they're that poor. They're going to concede 3 in the last 20 minutes. Yeah,
Ryan Kedge just hit the woodwork there, trying to get them back into the lead in that match. It come off the bar, so the chance goes a begging. A real opportunity from the edge of the box.
Yeah, the Rangers will be piling the pressure on now. The fans have been on them on. You go and win the game. So
Borna Barisic has just scored. Bang, there you are. Comes off the bar, quick bit of play, boom, out to Barisic, bang, back in the net. If he's not crossing it, suddenly he's scoring it 2-1.
Brilliant. As I said, Rangers will be piling the pressure on Ross County. One each. I've been in that position myself. Celtic, Rangers.
St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. Ellie Ewan has scored.
Again, 3-3.
Yeah.
After I slaughtered them in the paper, see, that was the wee jag he needed.
yeah. I don't know about you, Tam. My mother always said self-praise is no praise. But of course, I have to say one thing you've done well. You've actually promoted some of the young players that should be playing for Hibs who have been doing well in the under-19s.
Yeah, under-18s. Josh O'Connor, big Gary's boy. I speak to Gary regular. I know he's been disappointed this season that he's not really had an opportunity, but he came on last week against Aberdeen and won a penalty. I think he's on the bench today again. So listen, that's the future for Hibs. Bringing these young players through and bleeding them into the team.
Yeah, Newbley and Bradley have been substituted. Bahambula and Curtis Guthrie on for Livingston. The 3-1 up in Kelly, and it begs the question. I hate to put this to you, Tam, but with teams under pressure, games running out, that trap door opening ever closer, you get to a situation where you wonder which manager's favourite for the sack, and that's the sad situation.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to lose their job, but there'll be certainly be pressure on.
Hearts 2, Dundee United 1. Cochrane scored the goal, and suddenly a game where they were booed off at half time has turned on its head.
Yeah, but listen, I think with the 10 minutes, a long time to play with 10-minute Tynecastle. I think you get sent off after 15-20 minutes. It's a long time to go and defend with 10 men. So I think you would be expecting them to win the game.
Yeah, so suddenly from a position where they were 1-0 up through Stephen Fletcher, it was Hearts fighting back. Lawrence Shanklin making it 1-1, and then that goal from Cochrane makes it 2-1 to the Jambos. And I think a lot of people surprised. They thought Hearts were really going to lay a glove on Rangers in midweek. It just didn't materialise. It's a 19-point gap before we started the games today, which really kind of highlights exactly the gap that Hearts have to try and close, and that's going to take a bit of money.
Yeah, it's going to take an enormous amount of money. I think that obviously there's been a lot of soundings with Hearts, a lot of confidence coming out of Tynecastle, about potentially splitting the old firm and getting closer to Rangers, but for me they're still miles behind Rangers, and they would need to spend serious cash. But the thing for Hearts is if they win today, they stay in third place and they open up that gap. And for them just to be the third best is they're winning their mini league.
Yeah, set up by Barry Mackay there, and the goal for Cochrane. So it's 2-1 to Hearts in that match. We'll have full-time reports right across the Scottish Premiership, and we'll have the reaction from the managers and players as well on the programme, which hopefully you'll stay with us for and enjoy. Aston Villa 2, Leicester 4. Dennis Pratt has scored the goal for Leicester, so they are in a commanding position. Aston Villa were ahead in that match, but Leicester under Brendan Rodgers have fought back. It's amazing how, when you think to Claudio Ranieri, Claudio Ranieri, what he achieved there, and Brendan's come in and he's tried to build on it and get close again, but it just hasn't materialised.
No, but I think if you see their training ground, Leicester, it's one of the best in the world. I think that I don't think he's had an enormous amount of money to spend, Brendan Rodgers, but listen, he's a quality manager. He proved that up here with Celtic, absolutely dominant. He proved it at Liverpool. Struggling a wee bit at Leicester, that'd be a big result for them today, actually, pull them away from the bottom, but I don't think anybody disputes that Brendan Rodgers is a quality football manager. Yeah.
Did you mention who you thought was the favourite for the sack there, or did I interrupt you with the Hearts goal?
You did interrupt me, aye.
Yeah.
Who do I think's the favourite for the sack? Oh, unfortunately, it could be Stephen Hamill.
Yeah.
It's a poor result. Aberdeen, they get rid of their manager last week. It's a poor result for Motherwell. And as I said, it remains to be seen if they keep going, because I think they're going to sink to the bottom of the league, or in the bottom two now.
Yeah, and of course when you look at it, Kilmarnock, they're under pressure to try and stay in the division. Derek McInnes, I think, is an unhappy man. It's always dangerous when you come out and have a go at the board for the loss of Kyle Lafferty and no replacement. And then you look at Liam Fox as well. Dundee United, for the money they've spent, that is not a good position to be in. And I think we've highlighted three managers there that really might be looking and saying to themselves, well, can I get any more out of this team? Chairman, chief executives, board members looking and thinking, this is just not good enough.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, we actually spoke about this a few months ago. Derek McInnes at Kilmarnock, very experienced manager. Malky Mackay at Ross County, very experienced manager. Then you've got two rookies, Liam Fox and Stephen Hamill. And what will that experience tell in the end? Getting the best out of the players, knowing what to do in situations under pressure. Where they've been there and done it, and unfortunately for Stephen and Liam, it's the kind of first manager gig. So I think it's going to be a long season ahead for both Dundee United and Motherwell. Yeah, bit of word, some praise for Borna Barisic. She's hadn't scored a goal in a long time. Then scored against St Johnstone. Cracker as well. It's like two buses, isn't it? He's now managed to get one, an important one, I think, as we reach the latter stages of the matches in that match against Ross County. Yeah, it could be a big goal for Rangers. As I said, they've got to win every game for now at the end of the season and see where that takes them in terms of the league title. Great result during the week. Sometimes you've got to grind a result out, and that might be today that they just have to grind a 2-1 out against Ross County. Yeah, absolutely. Also, we will hear from Ange Postecoglou and Joe Hart on the programme a little later on, as well as our reporters giving us the full-time updates from the grounds. But as far as later on in the programme, when we look ahead to St Johnstone against Celtic, we'll hear from Ange Postecoglou and Joe Hart. We'll also hear from Pep Guardiola ahead of that match. Man City heading to White Hart Lane to take on Tottenham. Is it still White Hart Lane? Because it was moved a wee bit over. I don't know. Is it Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or something? I don't know the actual name yet. But I think the area is still White Hart Lane's close. I've not been down there, but I know a few people have been to Have you been to Tottenham Stadium? No, but I really want to go. It's meant to be quality. Hugh McDonald has gone down. I'm having a little bit of problem here with my earpiece. It's really doing my head in. I'm going to have to buy another one. Is that wax in your ears? No, there's nothing in my ears. As some people are going to say, there's nothing in between. So yeah, absolutely. It's one of those cartoons, when you open it up and there's nothing there, or as they used to do on Spitting Image with Ronald Reagan, which was very unkind. Now, a lot of people just looking. Sean Maxwell's amazed that Liverpool are losing by 3-0. David Russell says, can Barisic show up in the big games? He's scoring goals, crucial goals as well, which just keeps that. It just keeps asking the question of Celtic when they actually go to play on the Sunday. Can you restore that 9-point advantage if Rangers win on the Saturday? Yep, that's all you've got to do. When Rangers are playing the day before, they've got to keep the pressure on Celtic, and if they keep putting the pressure on Celtic, Celtic have got to win on the day after. It doesn't appear at the minute that Celtic are going to drop anything, but you never know. You could get a man sent off, something could happen in a game. It looks as if it's going to take something like that for Celtic to drop something, but all Rangers can do is look after themselves, just keep winning every game, just keep plodding away, and then try and win the 2 Old Firm games. If they do that, then you never know.
Yeah, one of the best players that I think United have recruited over the last few months is Casemiro from Real Madrid. Really good player, just been sent off in that game against Crystal Palace. Yeah, absolutely. I like him though.
He's a good player, very good player, but he puts his foot in. Yeah, I think he's been banned a couple of times, so it doesn't surprise me that. But he's very combative. Same with Fred.
Yeah, at Man United, it's been 65 games since Manchester United have had someone sent off. Now, if that had been up here, there'd be a summit, there'd be a government inquiry, and we'd be looking into it, Tom.
Just too nice as a club, too nice.
Yeah. No. The thing is, up here we're all mental and we think there's conspiracy theories. So he's off, and it's 2-1. And Nicholas Raskin comes on for his Rangers debut. And I think the whole place is going bananas. It's a lovely picture yesterday. He's there. He looks absolutely pleased as punch to be in a Rangers jersey, and he wants to win trophies.
Yeah, that's why he's here. Standard Liège, obviously a big club in Belgium, but I don't think there's any comparison. I think Rangers are a far bigger club. When you look at the run in the Europa League, getting the Champions League, it was a great move for him. So it's up to him to come and prove that he's a real deal. I'm trying to think of the last Belgian player that played for Rangers.
Thomas Buffel.
Yeah, so I was thinking I played against him. He was a good player, but I don't think there's been any since then.
Yeah, there's only one. No, it's now Nicholas Raskin is the second, but you always open your gob and say that, and then somebody goes, in 1894, a Belgian suddenly drove past.
I thought that. I was thinking about it.
No, but there's only 2. I looked it up. It was one of our quiz questions the other week there when you weren't on. Which is so rare these days that you're not on as per the terms of your contract. Anyway, and poor Ruffy, he's had a rough couple of weeks, and you haven't made it any easier for him.
I know. I need to stop giving him abuse. As my mum and dad have said to you, better lay off him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stop saying he's going to croak it.
Yeah, he's back in. He's back playing the tennis as well. I have to tell you.
That's good. Getting his strength back. That's good.
Absolutely, not getting any better, but nevertheless, we're slugging it out in doubles matches. Saturday evening, we're fast approaching full time across the Scottish Premiership, and the story of the Scottish Premiership is Ross County are putting up a fight against Rangers. They managed to get it level through Jordan White, but Borna Barisic, maybe the unlikeliest of heroes, has scored the goal to put Rangers back in front with about maybe 5 minutes left in that match. So Rangers leading by 2-1. It's a confident Livingston who go into the match against Kilmarnock, go 3 goals up. Killie get 1 back. It's 3-1 there now, but David Martindale will undoubtedly, in my book, be one of the nominees for Manager of the Year. He's just been superb.
It's been brilliant with him. And as I said, I don't think he gets a lot of credit, enough credit. Yeah. I think he's a great man manager. He's getting the best out of players who have not been good enough for other clubs. He gets them in, he lifts them up, and he gets them back out there playing with confidence. I think he's recruited well, and everybody's speaking about maybe David going to a bigger club, and I totally get that. But does he want to go, with an American owner or a head of recruitment that he doesn't, that's not his style? At Livingston, he's got full control over who comes in, who comes out, and that's probably rare now, and at top level football. So maybe he's just happy at Livingston, but there is going to be a point at Livingston where he hits his ceiling. Yeah. If they finish 3rd or 4th this season, how you can't top that. The only way is down.
When that ceiling's coming?
When?
May. Yeah. He's got to get out when he's hot.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
Possibly.
You can't stay there and then suddenly hope that you get that bit of luck to always bring in players that play the way you want. I can tell you it's Kelty 1, Falkirk 2, and it looks as if Burrow has got the winner in that one. 90th minute, great time to score a goal.
It is, and that just keeps him in it. As I said, that's a very, very big goal for Falkirk. It's out the 2 of them. As I said, 2 of my old clubs, and they're going to go head to head. I think that they've started to play each other, so keeps Falkirk in the mix.
Yeah, Matola scored 3 minutes to go for Brighton in that match. Brighton have scored, so they are leading Bournemouth by a goal to 0 at this moment. It's the Saturday Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't done already, hit the subscribe button. We'd love you to join the football family. As we always say, it's uncensored, unbiased, unmatched. 6 days a week you have that programme to enjoy. 4 o'clock till 5 Monday to Friday, 4 till 6 on a Saturday, and all sorts of unique content. content coming up. We've got a lovely one-to-one with John McMaster, the one of the Gothenburg heroes of Aberdeen, and I managed to sit down with John and shoot the breeze with him. He brought all his medals in and looked back over his career at Aberdeen, and of course that wonderful run to Gothenburg where they defeated Real Madrid by 2-1. So it's a really good, enjoyable watch. There's one-to-ones, there's dream teams, there's special games that players and managers are talking about. There's so much content on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and we also give away prizes regularly every week. All the way to the summer, you're guaranteed a chance to win a prize. We've given away the Europa League season replica shirt from Rangers with the Europa League final programme, because I think I can tell you it's Queen of the South full time coming in, Tam, that I can tell you about just shortly. It's Queen of the South 1, Edinburgh 0, so a good win for the Queens there. Elsewhere in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs still holding on to that 1-goal advantage with Ewan scoring at the Sweetsa Stadium in Paisley against St Mirren. Elsewhere, it's Aberdeen 3, Motherwell 1, Motherwell under real pressure now. Hearts 2-1 up in a 10-man Dundee United side, and it looks as if it could be Alex Cochrane's goal. That's the decisive one there. Livingston 3-1 up in Kilmarnock, Rangers 2-1 up in Ross County. Borna Barisic the hero so far, and we're into the latter stages of that match as well. Elsewhere in the Championship, Raith Rovers leading Arbroath by 2-1. Hamilton drawing 1-1 with Dundee. It's 2-2 between Inverness, Cally Thistle and Morton in the final minute, and Partick Thistle 0, Cove Rangers 1. That will be a real blow for Partick Thistle and Ian McCall. I think they should be expecting playoffs at least.
Yeah, I think if they don't get into the top four, the manager could be under serious pressure. I think that their level of investment at Thistle's been pretty big, and I think if they don't get into that top four, that playoff, it's not been good enough for this season. So, I'm not quite sure whether. I think they were fourth before today, so Raith Rovers I think are winning. So I don't know if they'll drop out the playoffs. We need to see the league tables later on, but that's a dreadful result at home to Cove. Cove have been toiling; they're getting pumped every week.
Yeah, absolutely, and the people who are actually winning against them are scoring a lot of goals. So Partick Thistle, dreadful result there if it finishes that way. Hibernians 1, Clyde 0, Alloa 1, Peterhead 0, Dunfermline 2, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Falkirk 2, and Queen of the South 1, Edinburgh 0 in League 1. Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Annan Athletic 2, East Fife 1, Stirling Albion 1, Elgin City 1, Albion Rovers 1. That's a full-time score, as is East Fife and Stirling Albion. And it's Stennismuir 0, Dumbarton 1 in League 2. And I can tell you elsewhere in the Scottish Premiership, we're heading to the final seconds of the matches there. 7 minutes of injury time's been added on at Tynecastle. 7 minutes!
Must have been an injury, but that's probably from the World Cup. I think a lot of
I like
referees, and I like it as well, because a lot of time wasting goes on, within football, and I think that if you add it on, people going down injured with cramp and all that stuff, and time wasting, I think you should add 7 or 8 minutes at the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I can tell you, Nubley, Anderson, Kelly scored the goals for Livingston, and despite a consolation in that match for Kilmarnock, it's just not good enough, because quite simply, it's a great win for Livingston. Kelly got the goal back through Doidge, who very rarely scores. There's been all sorts of problems for Kelly this week, and an unhappy Derek McInnes, and they're up against it now. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. That's a full-time scoreline from the Sweetsa Stadium.
Result for the Highbees.
It is a good result, isn't it?
A very good result.
I don't know if I had that, Tam.
I don't think anybody did. I think I went for St Mirren as well, but that's a great result. St Mirren very, very strong at home this season, and Hibs, from being Lee Johnson been under pressure, have now picked up 7 points for 9 in a week. So it's been a very, very good week for him and the club.
Partick 0, Cove 1. That is a bad result for Ian McCall's side as well. I had St Mirren to win, and Hibs have won it. I had Rangers to win against Ross County quite convincingly, but it's been a really tight affair. 2-1 at the moment, waiting for the full time there. I had Livingston to beat Kilmarnock. I had Hearts to beat Dundee United, and I had Aberdeen to beat Motherwell, but I haven't got a correct score anywhere across there, have you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I did either. But I had a few. I went for Livingston, I went for Aberdeen, Hearts,
Absolutely.
Rangers, so I'm probably 8 points.
by the way, full time in the English Premier League. Wolves 3, Liverpool 0. Brentford have defeated Southampton by 3-0 as well.
He's a good manager, Thomas Franks.
Yeah, he is a good manager, isn't he?
Very well there, aye.
Is he worthy of a big job?
Yeah, I think he's in a similar situation to maybe the likes of Graham Potter, who done well at a smaller club, but I think there's a big difference between, you can see with Chelsea at the minute, the expectation level at a Brighton or a Brentford is nowhere near an expectation at a Chelsea or a Liverpool. Yeah,
Stenhousemuir 1, Dumbarton 1. A lot of late goals coming in. Matty Yates has scored in the 95th minute, so 1-1 there. And I think it's almost full time in the Dunfermline-Montrose match as well. They were 2-0 up Dunfermline, so they are absolutely cruising there. But the big stories, I think in England, at Wolves defeating Liverpool by 3-0, and some shock waves around. And as far as the Scottish Premiership is concerned, its manager's under pressure again this weekend, and none more so than Stephen Hamill up at Pittodrie, where he watched his side lose 3-1 to Aberdeen. Elsewhere, Liam Fox under a little bit of pressure because Hearts have defeated them by 2-1. Derek McInnes equally so, because after a good result in midweek, suddenly they're back behind the 8 ball once more, down at the bottom end of the table, worrying because Livingston defeated them by 3-1. Rangers, it looks as if they'll be just celebrating shortly that 2-1 win over Ross County. It's a hard fought one at that, and Johan, full time, the winner against St Mirren for Hibs, 3 points on the road. That'll be good news for Lee Johnson, who slowly but surely, I think, when Ron Gordon comes back, he'll be looking at him and saying, okay, you're going to be able to sign even more players again. He'll get another transfer window.
Yeah, I think he will. I think it was always, he was always going to get to the end of the season. For Hibs, they can't keep, changing the manager. After the Hearts game, 3-0 defeat in the cup, I thought they was under a bit of pressure. But they bounced back with the 7 points out of 9, but gets them up the table, keeps them in the mix for 3rd and 4th place, and. As I said, it was important that they won today because St Mirren were sitting in 4th, and they've just closed the gap on them. So all in all, great day for the Hibees.
Yeah, absolutely. We will give you another chance just before the end of the programme to see the competition for the last time and put your entry in. You can double your chances of winning by hitting the subscribe button. It's full time at Pittodrie, Aberdeen 3, Motherwell 1. What a great result that is for the Dons. Of course, you begin to wonder whether, of course, maybe Dave Cormack is looking at it and thinking to himself, will I give Barry Robson the job on a full-time basis? Duke Lopez scored, Miofsky scored 2, and Van Veen got a 75th minute penalty as a consolation. Wow, what a result for Aberdeen. It's amazing what happens over the space of 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, I think that Barry Robson will get a tune out of them. I think they were very unlucky during the week. I thought that was a harsh red card on Ross McCrory. I know it never got appealed, it never won the appeal, but you go down to 10 men after 10 minutes, and after 6 minutes I think it was, and stay in the game in the last 10 minutes, equalise with 10 men. It showed you that they were fighting for the club, the manager. So that result today was no surprise to me against a struggling Motherwell team.
Yeah, Josh Ginnelly's been sent off for Hearts. At 7 minutes added on, he's been sent off. Red card, that means both teams now down to 10 men, but Hearts crucially leading by 2-1. Rangers 2, Ross County 1. It's finished that way. It looked as if Jordan White was thinking to himself, I've managed to get us a point on the road. But their dismal run at Ibrox continues. Rangers, through Borna Barisic, get the winner, 2-1, and they get the 3 points.
Yeah, that's a massive result for Rangers. I think you've just got to keep winning games. They played spectacularly well during the week against Hearts. Got a lot of credit for that, a lot of plaudits. But sometimes you've got to grind the result out, and it seems to be the case today that they've not played at their best, but they're still won, and that's a good sign for Michael Beale. Yeah, thanks to Jason Craig, who says, keep up the good work, lads. It's great to watch Scottish football talk 6 days a week. We try our best, Tam. We try and bring on, Richard Foster on, Alison McConnell, Hugh McDonald on, Tam Cowan, yourself, Ruffy, more importantly for 10 years he's been with me. It's a really good side that come together and chat football. Yeah, it is, and as I said, I'll probably be getting a wee camp bed over there so shortly. I'm in here that much.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're still not getting a man cave, just in case you do move in. But thank you to so many of you for your positive words. Don't forget to tell your friends, get them to hit the subscribe button and join us, and basically view so much of our content that's coming up. There's lots of really, really good one-to-ones and special features coming up. And of course, we've been out and about. Our reporters, Adam Binney, had a magnificent report, I can tell you, on the road with Stirling University in the Scottish Cup. Can I just say to you, Stephen Humphreys has scored for Hearts from his own half. He's absolutely hit one of those rakers.
I think the goalkeeper's maybe been up for the corner.
Caught the goalie, boom, and then scored. By the way, it's no easy feat to do it.
No, it isn't. You've got to have a good strike, but I think that maybe possibly, obviously they've not seen it, but I can think it's maybe the goalkeeper coming up for a corner in the last minute and it's been a breakaway.
Yeah, well, that's...
maybe, I don't know, somebody could tell us.
Well, to be honest with you, it's put the tin lid on it, because quite simply, that secures the win for Hearts, and they've been able to bounce back from the disappointment of Rangers.
Yep, that was a big result for Hearts, going 1-0 down. I was listening to the radio coming in here, and Dundee United were all over them. I think the Hearts fans would have been given the players pelters, after the result the other night, the performance. So to get 3 points just keeps them, ticking over, keeps them... I think they extend the gap over St Mirren. Hibs, great result for them, just to kind of stay in touch with Hearts. But Hearts will finish third this season.
Yeah,
no doubt about it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Rashford, the hero for Manchester United, in that 2-1 win over Crystal Palace. But the main stories here in the Scottish Premiership is that Aberdeen have really bounced back now after a dismal couple of weeks and a dismal run this season, where Jim Goodwin was eventually sacked. Barry Robson's the interim manager at the moment, and it's 3-1 that Aberdeen defeated Motherwell, and there's real problems there for Stephen Hamill trying to get something out of this side. Hearts 3, Dundee United 1. It finished Humphreys almost with the last kick of the ball there from his own half, scoring that goal. Livingston 3, it's 3's up in these games, because Livingston defeated Kilmarnock by 3-1 as well. A good win there for David Martindale's side, and more problems for Derek McInnes to try and sort out. Rangers 2, Ross County 1. Good result. Malik Tillman had to come on for Lundstrom, who went off injured after about 11 minutes, and well, he made an impact, scored a goal, and then Borna Barisic had to get the winner because Jordan White had equalised for Ross County. St Mirren 0, Hibernian 1. Johan with the all-important winning goal to get 3 points. So that's how it looks in the Scottish Premiership, and again, Rangers doing exactly what's expected of them. It's a great run for Michael Beale, Tam, because suddenly, it's reduced to 6 again, and Celtic, it seems as if they've been playing St Johnstone near enough every week. They're back there at McDermott Park tomorrow, and they trying to restore that 9-point advantage.
Yeah, listen, all Rangers can do and Michael Beale can do is win games. They've got that winning taste at the minute, the winning habit, and it's a great habit to be in. They're not at their best today, but they still win the game, and that's what matters when you're at Celtic Rangers. Just got to win.
Yeah.
You're not going to win 4 and 5-0 every week. You've just got to grind out a 1-0 or a 2-1. So, listen, they put the pressure on Celtic, but I don't think Celtic will drop anything at St Johnstone tomorrow. But if Rangers win every game for now at the end of the season, they give themselves a chance, and I think that's what they've got to do. Yeah,
you will hear from our reporters, Patrick Mullen, Adam Binney and Kerry Pollock. More reporters joining us to cover the games. We have Claire Kinnaird, who covers the Dundee area with United, and also we will have your old mate Ali Graham joining us as well.
Yep, he's going to be doing some of the games as well, so I was speaking to him last night. He's looking forward to it, and hopefully he can work the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't put any pressure on him.
He'll be fine.
He's obviously going to be covering games for us. We're going to get more and more reporters to try and give you the most extensive coverage, out with of course the BBC, and we only have 1/1,000,000th of their budget, Tam, but we're doing our absolute best.
Yeah, and listen, I think it's only going to get better and better. We've obviously just started the Saturday show, but you've got great people behind the scenes, and you've got great reporters out there. So, as I said, tune in. We talk about Scottish football for a couple of hours, and there's not a lot of outlets do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Patrick Mullen from St Mirren against Hibs.
Full time here at the Smythe Stadium, and it has finished St Mirren 0, Hibernian 1. The only goal of this one coming in the 75th minute. Ellie Yuhan with the strike. That all started by Ewan Henderson on the right hand side. His cross finds Yuhan on the edge of the box. He cuts in onto his right foot and slashes the ball home to give Hibs all 3 points. This result sees the 12-game unbeaten streak for St Mirren end here at the Spicer Stadium, but it also sees Hibs jump over St Mirren in the league table and move up to 4th. Stay with us, we'll get all the reaction from Lee Johnson and Stephen Robinson next. But at full time in Paisley, it has finished. St Mirren 0, Hibernian 1.
Brilliant. I love Patrick's enthusiasm for it. He sounds excited as if he's watched a Champions League match when he's watched one of the most dire games you could ever watch. I love him for it. You need enthusiasm.
Yeah, sense of youth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe in 20 years' time, if he's watching a game like that, he'll be sitting with his face tripping him. But no, great. Patrick's brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Speaks well. So you seem to be an act of getting these young talented reporters.
Yep, absolutely, and more and more of them will be joining us as well, but we're trying to do our very best in Scottish football for you. And there's also banter, opinion, and you'll never believe it, Tam, it's absolutely free.
It is YouTube, and that is the future. You know, you're ahead of the game in terms of that. People watch stuff on their phone, they watch films, you watch live streaming, so no, I think it's going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of people who actually send us pictures, Tam, in their man caves with the telly on, and we're up there on the big one. So we really appreciate your support, and thank you to so many people who compliment our reporters when they're out and about, because they are gaining experience, and of course they'll turn into top journalists, broadcasters, reporters all over the place. And somebody pointed out to us, Tam, when we were in a press conference, that 80% of the broadcasting team have all worked under us at PLZ. So that's not bad, is it? We've got a good strike rate.
Something right. Lamazia.
Yeah.
PLZ, basically.
Don't bring them like that.
You're not getting transfer fees for them.
I was just about to say, the youngsters, every time I see them now, and of course the other thing about it is so many of them, when they come on board, think they're the best footballer. I mean, Shyness Benny thinks he's better than Ronaldo. He's unbelievable.
If I play 5-a-sides against him, he's getting snapped.
Yep, absolutely.
He's getting 2 foot up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's better than Gabriel Antinazzi. Remember we played 5-a-sides.
Gabs is a good
Turned
lad.
up with shorts on, he had cycling shorts underneath.
Yeah.
He was like the McCurdy with the socks down.
Exactly.
White boots, and I thought one thing, he's getting smashed.
I'll tell you one thing I'm really looking forward to is going back to play fives with you now that I've got a completely and utterly restored hip.
That's good.
Because that means there's two.
Maybe give you a yard of pace.
Well, let's steady on it. I never had that one. I had 2 legs anyway. So, but it's certainly going to be a different game. Looking forward to it.
Let's not get a rematch against Tommy Sheridan's team, because that big guy I shoved into the boards.
Yeah, I thought he was going to
everybody.
I thought he was going to batter.
He was, but I had enough.
Yeah, we're going to play the Scottish football journals from Sky and BBC and everything. We've got a 7-a-side against them. Yeah, you happy with that?
When's that?
Well, just when you're feeling fit, just tell me.
I played 5s on Tuesday actually up in East Kilbride.
Yeah.
Play sport.
Were you good?
I tell you, I was magnificent. I've not played for 3-4 months, and I was expecting the worst.
Yeah, well,
but I was my finishing.
Brilliant.
Not like me.
Absolutely, and quite a lot of the 75-year-olds who also played in the game were telling me you were fantastic. So
younger boys, I know.
Yeah. Was there?
No.
I like that. Like you to. Quite a lot of people now throwing out a challenge to us. Let's just get a couple of games under our belt, Tammy, before we start challenging teams. Anyway, Rangers get the win. They reduce the gap to 6 points. We've heard from Patrick Mullen out there at St Mirren. We'll hear from Adam Binney shortly, and also we'll hear from Kerry Pollock at Rangers, because she watched the match between Rangers and Ross County. And remember, before we go off air tonight, you'll hear from the managers at those key games in the Scottish Premiership. They'll be giving us their thoughts and some of the players as well. So we will keep you right up to date with what's happening and the reaction from the games, including, of course, Michael Beale, who will be absolutely delighted to get that win in that match against Ross County. And we'll also hear from Ange Postecoglou, as well as Ange Postecoglou. Joe Hart looking ahead to the match tomorrow, St Johnstone against Celtic. And if my memory serves me correct on that one, Tam, I actually think that game is, is it a 12 o'clock kickoff on the Sunday? I think it is actually.
Early kickoff.
Yeah.
So I think is it Man City Tottenham tomorrow, half 4 game.
Half 4 game, yeah. So
Got a good game as well.
yeah, lots to talk about before we go off here at 6 o'clock. Let's go to Ibrox, Kerry Pollock.
Full time here at Ibrox, and the scoreline reads Rangers 2, Ross County 1. It was Malik Tillman that opened the scoring in added time of the first half. Lovely pass from Morelos onto Cantwell. He crossed the ball into Tillman, and it's goal number 8 for Tillman in a Rangers jersey. In the second half, Ross County levelled up the scoring. It looked like something from the training ground. It was Danda's cross and it into Jordan White into the box, and it was his header that hit the back of the net. But then the winning goal of the afternoon came from Borna Barisic's free kick on the edge of the 18-yard box. It looked as though it took a deflection as it rolled into the back of the net, but nonetheless 3 points for Rangers here this afternoon as it finishes Rangers 2, Ross County 1.
Yeah, brilliant from Kerry, who with Adam and Patrick will be covering all the stories across the Scottish Premiership this week and beyond, so do stay with us throughout the week as well. And we've got the football show 4 o'clock till 5 Monday to Friday, and the competition we'll give you that with Kerry a little later on in the programme. We'll give you the answer to the quiz too, so thank you to so many of you for just talking about that. What's going to happen with the game tomorrow, St Johnstone against Celtic? You can let us know about that, and also what's going to be happening with that match, Tottenham against Man City. All of them at this point are key games where if anybody slips up, I think Nicholas Raskin yesterday talking about signing for Rangers is saying, this is not done and dusted. There's a couple of games against Celtic to come.
Yeah, listen, it looks a big gap at the minute. 9 points plus goal difference. But if Rangers win every game from now end of the season, they give themselves a chance. They're obviously going to need help from other clubs, which I think is going to be the hardest part. Because you don't see, anyone taking points off of Celtic out with the Rangers. So that's going to be the hard part. They're still massive outsiders, but the thing for Rangers is, just try and get continuity, try and get a good run of results, and close the gap on Celtic looking ahead to next year.
Yeah, the main story's down south. I think everybody wondering what's gone wrong at Liverpool. How can you be chasing a quadruple last season and suddenly being way off it, struggling actually to even get into any of the European places this season?
Yeah, I think they're sitting 10th or 11th. It's just incredible for Liverpool. One of the title favourites this season, and it's just not happened at all. I think defensively they've been really poor. Losing Van Dijk's obviously not helped, but there just seems to be something wrong in at Liverpool at the minute. There's something not right, and it has been for a number of months now. So whether he gets next season, I don't know, but he needs to start picking up results, Peter.
I know he does, but he's not getting sacked right now. It would need to be.
Results business, Peter.
Absolutely, but you can't sack Klopp. Not at this moment anyway. Maybe I'm just blinded by the whole thing because obviously, following them down through the years, I just think that the Liverpool fans will not be happy with the results, but certainly will be looking at it. They might be looking on with envious eyes at what's happening elsewhere because Newcastle, the pictures from midweek were unbelievable. That is a city. If they get any silverware coming up in the next couple of years, that city is going to go crazy.
Yeah, I love Newcastle. I think they're a great club. I can always remember the Kevin Keegan team. I was only a young boy growing up with the spat with Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
but I loved that Newcastle team. Maybe because like me, they were plucky losers. They were getting beat 4-3 and winning 4. Remember the 2 games against Liverpool?
Yeah.
They were so entertaining to watch, and they won 0, so that's probably why I liked them.
Yeah, it won't be too long before we'll be able to get a full-time report from Adam Binney at Tynecastle, that match between Hearts and Dundee United, because there was no shortage of controversy in it, and a couple of red cards thrown in for good measure.
Yep, that'll be an interesting one to see the highlights later on. As I said, 2 red cards, great result for Hearts. Coming from 1-0 down, if they lost that game again today, all of a sudden, people looking at Robbie Nielsen. So great result, and listen, Hearts for me should finish third comfortably with the squad they've got.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you, Tam. They're actually, at times I've watched them
got a
play.
guy who's going to score 25-30, which helps.
Well, it's going to be an unbelievable season for him if he does indeed score. 50 yards out, they reckon, Humphreys with the shot into the back of the net to sink Dundee United in that match for 3-1 to score a goal at the best of times. I think Stephen Humphreys just looked up and boom, hits it, and Dundee United's hopes of maybe snatching a point in that game all but gone.
Yeah, they would have been pushing players forward, wouldn't they, to try and get the equaliser.
Can't wait to see it though.
There's always a danger. I mean, we've not seen it. We don't know if it's a breakaway. The goalkeeper was up for a corner and they broke away and scored, and it was an open goal, or he's actually chipped the goalie. So we'll soon see it later on.
Yeah, and Ange Postecoglou not too far away. Joe Hart looking ahead to St Johnstone against Celtic tomorrow. There's also some big games in the English Premier League to look forward to tomorrow, because Man City have to go to Tottenham, knowing full well that Arsenal slipped up today against Everton. And Everton, with Sean Dyche as the manager, suddenly get that win. Goodison Park was absolutely bouncing when the referee blew the final whistle. I think they've been through a lot of pain. Frank Lampard just couldn't actually get anything out of them. I get the feeling that Sean Dyche might save Everton from the drop. As a great appointment.
I think so as well. I think he's exactly what they needed. He goes in there, they're bottom of the league. I think they've got some quality players. I've seen their team today. I think they're in a false position. I think they should be higher than that in the table. They've spent a lot of money. And I think if Dyche can just get in there and galvanise them and get them going again and create that team spirit that he done at Burnley, then I think they've got enough to stay up. Southampton, for me, look as if they're gone. I think they're struggling. But you've got any number of 4 or 5 clubs down there that could go.
Yeah, let's go to Tynecastle. Adam Binney.
Full time here at Tynecastle Park. It has finished. Heart of Midlothian 3, Dundee United 1. Where do I start? What a crazy match of football that was. Dundee United took the lead after just 9 minutes. It was Stephen Fletcher getting on the end of a cutback from Niskanen, and from that point on it looked like Dundee United were definitely the better of the two sides until the 30th minute, when Ryan Edwards, the captain, was shown a red card for a high challenge of a follow through on Hearts midfielder Andy Halliday. They went into the break with a 1-0 advantage. Hearts were really poor in the first 45, but boy did they come flying out in the second. It came in the 71st minute. That's when the equaliser actually came for Hearts. Barry Mackay, some brilliant work from him on the left hand side. He put a cross into the box. It was chased down by Lauren Shanklin, swivelled, and then on his left foot managed to get a deflected shot to squirm past Birighitti and goal. Just 5 minutes later it was Mackay involved again. In fact, it was all 3 substitutes combined to get what I thought was going to be the winner, but no, it didn't stop there. It went 2-1. Some fantastic work from Kuo on the right hand side, slips it inside for Murphy, wide for Mackay, then a reverse pass for the onrushing Alex Cochrane, who just slides it into the bottom corner to make it 2-1 to Hearts. Now 10 men Dundee United were doing well at that point. They tried to get back into it. Hearts were then reduced to 10 men of their own. It was Josh Giannelli, was time wasting with a throw in, refused to take it at the referee's order, was shown a booking, and then sarcastically clapped the referee, was shown a second yellow card, was given his marching orders down the tunnel. Then, if you thought the game wasn't crazy enough, wait till you hear this. In the final minute of the game, basically the last kick of the ball, Stephen Humphreys has definitely produced goal of the season here at Tynecastle. He wins the ball on the edge of the box, squirms in between 2 players, manages to hold them both off. You see him look up, you see the goalkeeper off his line, you think surely not. I thought he was clearing it, but then with his left foot, his weaker left foot, he dinks the goalkeeper from inside his own half, and it lands in the bottom corner as Tynecastle erupts and Nick Walsh blows the full time whistle. So full time here at Tynecastle Park, it's finished. Hearts 3, Dundee United 1.
I really thought that Adam was going to spontaneously come back. What a report that was! That's magic.
That was lengthy. It enabled us to get a wee drink there and some tea or 3 quarter. By the time we come back on, but no, seems like a very exciting game. Great for him to be at Tynecastle. Lots of goals, great goals. A couple of red cards. And unfortunately for wee Patrick, he was at a stinker.
Yeah,
Hibs, which we'll hear.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hear from Michael Beale before the end of the programme. And let's not forget, elsewhere, everybody will be looking and thinking, okay, can Celtic respond when they go to Perth to take on St Johnstone? What do you think of that match? Is there going to be a slip up there? Is there a chance for Rangers to maybe capitalise? It was close today against Ross County. Although they had a lot of the possession, Rangers, they had to fight for it. They had to grind it out, and Borna Barisic was the hero for Rangers, who got that all-important goal. And as Kerry Pollock mentioned from Ibrox, it might have took a little nick, but nobody cares when the ball hits the back of the net. It's the all-important winner in that game. So good one for Borna Barisic. Scored against St Johnstone in mid-January, I think, and then follows it up with that all-important goal against Ross County. The scores in the Premiership It's a win for Aberdeen by 3-1. Hearts win 3-1, as you've just heard from Adam. Livingston with a similar scoreline against Kilmarnock. Rangers edging it 2-1, and Ellie Johan scoring the goal for Hibs against St Mirren. That's how it looks in the Scottish Premiership. Good win for Wraith Rovers. They came back in that game because Arbroath, Dick Campbell's side, were leading, but they managed to fight back and get a 2-1 win. Hamilton Accies drew with Dundee. Similar draw for Inverness against Greenock Morton, and Cove Rangers winning by a 1-0 at Thistle. When you look at their results over the last few weeks, they've been getting absolutely battered, and suddenly it looks as if Paul Hartley started to steady the ship. Airdrieonians with a solitary goal, enough to see them pass Clyde. Similar for Alloa Athletic against Peterhead. Dunfermline, James McPake's side just seemed to go from strength to strength. 2-0 against Montrose. Falkirk came back against Kelty to win 2-1, and Queen of the South defeating Edinburgh by a 1-0. Bonnyrigg Rose lost to Annan Athletic by 2-1. East Fife shared the points with Stirling Albion, as did Elgin and Albion Rovers. Forfar with a 2-1 win over Stranraer, and Stenhousemuir 1-1 against Dumbarton. So what about looking towards Sunday? And the game is St Johnstone against Celtic. Celtic up at McDermott Park, and they really had to fight for it in the league. It was the late show when they eventually got the winner there.
Makis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The last kick of the ball. St Johnstone are capable of making it tough for teams. You've seen that this season. A couple of weeks ago, Rangers won 1-0. Celtic had to get a late goal. So they can make it tough for teams, but I just think that Celtic have got too much power, too much firepower, and they'll go up there and if they get there, they'll go. I think they'll run out comfy winners. Yeah,
of course, it looks as if Giacomakis, Ange Postecoglou is just basically saying, well, I'll find out off social media when he's moved, because he's not part of his plans, I don't think, now.
Nah, I think it could turn a wee bit, maybe nasty. I think that you see that the manager's not wanting him there anymore, and listening on Instagram, but supposedly he's been posting stuff, about his transfer and about the club. So I think that the best thing for everyone is he goes and the window for Japan and for MLS is open, I think, that the rest of this month, so I think you'll see him go in the next week or two.
Yeah, it's 1 year ago that Celtic actually moved to the top of the table in last season's title race. This time it's the chasing pack, and Ange Postecoglou looked back on that fact at the press conference yesterday.
Yeah, look, it's been a big part of this team, I guess. Aside from the football, is just the character they've shown and resilience they've shown. I guess even before that night, obviously that night last year was significant because it was the first time sort of we went top of the table. As people always said, it's one thing chasing, but it's another thing being chased. But again, this group of players has handled it really, really well.
And it is a big group of players, and when you look at the strength and depth and what he's asked for, and he's got it from the board, they have backed him big time, and he wants them in early, and he wants to build that side. And I think he may well look to even more recruits when it gets to the summer, to make sure that he's got enough in that squad that's good enough for the Champions League battle.
Yeah, I think he's building a quality squad now. I think he wants competition for places. He wants quality players, maybe breathing down people's necks. He's getting that now. He's getting players in. I think the Celtic board trust him. I think that when you look at his recruitment record, he's I can only think of maybe one or two off the top of my head. Maybe Ideguchi, James McCarthy. Is there any others that have not done well? Been flops. I can't think off the top of my head. That maybe some of the viewers can think as well. But
yeah,
majority of them have been hits, and they've sold a couple on for big money as well. So listen, I think he's building a real quality squad there. The hardest thing for Ange is going to be keeping everyone happy.
I'd be loath to say that Stephen Welsh was a failure, because I think Stephen Welsh has done well. Yeah, it's just that I think Ange Postecoglou wanted a higher quality of player, and no harm to Stephen, he just couldn't force his way into his thinking.
Yeah, I think he's a handy squad player. I think it's up to Stephen to realise if he wants to stay at Celtic and be a bit part player, he wants to go to maybe a League One club or a Championship club, or go to an Aberdeen or a Hearts or a Hibs and play every week. And it's his decision. So, I think you'll see, him at the end of the season making a decision to leave the club, because I don't think he's going to be near the starting lineup.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, when it's not going according to plan, Tam, you do get that situation where Ange Postecoglou quickly looks at it and says, okay, if I need to put 3 or 5 players on, I'll put them on.
Yeah, and I think we've spoken about it so many times, the 5 sub rule. I think they should bin that now.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's still a thing, the 5 subs. You know, it was obviously due to COVID, you know, and that the 5 subs went up, but 3 subs is adequate. You know, 5 subs gives the bigger clubs, the bigger squads a huge advantage. And I'm not just talking Celtic, Rangers, even Hearts now. You know, when you look at the strength and depth they've got. So if you're playing, if I was playing for Dundee or Hibs and we're playing Rangers or Celtic, and at 60 minutes they were bringing 3 players on, and with 15 minutes to go they're bringing another 2 players on, you know, and you're looking at your bench is bare. You know, it's a huge advantage. You know, to be bringing quality on, and it's not just oh, can we get to 60, 70 minutes? You need to get to 90, 95 minutes now to get a result against them.
Yeah, and of course all the players have had to work out how to get into the team, how to get the favour of Ange Postecoglou. The manager says he's got no favourites, and Joe Hart admitted yesterday that the players have taken time to try and get used to what the manager requires.
Yeah, look, we're just looking for that. With his system and his way of playing, he never put too much pressure on us to be perfect at it from the off. He made it very clear that he had a clear idea for us, and he didn't, obviously, as quickly as he wanted us to grasp it. It wasn't going to be that easy, and I think, you know, with the way that he works and his mentality of always wanting more, it's constantly going to be evolving. So, you know, we're never going to have cracked it. He's never going to have cracked it, but we're going to keep doing our best.
Well, they're going to do their best. St Johnstone somehow have to look at plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D tomorrow and work out how they get something from this game. I was impressed with St Johnstone in midweek because I thought they played lovely triangles on a pitch that allowed them to play nice football, which is Fir Park. And over and above that, the back line looked good. Again, it was starting to look like the Callum Davis and St Johnstone of old. And then, you know, of course, Stevie May, Nicky Clark, all linking up nicely. You know, I certainly think it's not going to be the easy one that everybody thinks for Celtic up there.
Yeah, I think they're capable of making it difficult for Celtic, but I just think the strength and depth that Celtic have is going to be crucial in the end. I think that St Johnstone, you know, it was a big win for them during the week. You know, they're in a bad run, 7 defeats I think in a row.
Yeah.
You know,
even though they were playing against the likes of Celtic, Rangers twice.
They did hard won games, but as a player that must be sapping your confidence. You know, they're losing every week. You know, that was a huge result, particularly when, you know, you've got Celtic on the Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, so if you lose that against Motherwell, it's maybe 9 in a row you're going to lose. So that would have gave them confidence. They'll make it difficult for Celtic. They'll try and stay in the game. They'll try and play for set pieces, nick a goal and defend. They'll be looking for the referees to do their job a bit better than done at Ibrox with Nicky Clark. Obviously that got rescinded, but that didn't help them at the time. So if they can keep 11 men on the pitch and nick a goal, you never know. But I just think Celtic are too good at the minute.
Yeah, of course, coming up, I think Callum Davison will say, look, do not, if we're going to lose, do not, you know, this is a free hit. Go out there and enjoy the game, savour playing against good players, because there's a Dundee United, there's a St Mirren, there's a Hearts, a Kelly, and Aberdeen, a Ross County coming up that I think they'll be looking, and Callum Davison will be saying, if we are going to continue this move away from that bottom end of the table, then there are points elsewhere that we can get, maybe not this one tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they must have a decent run of games coming up. You know, I don't know the fixture list, but as you said, they've played Celtic, this is going to be second time, and then Rangers have played them twice recently, so they must be due to play some of the clubs round about them, and you know, that's an opportunity for them to pick up points.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I quite like the programme when people obviously look at the clobber we're wearing, or indeed, you know, I think Ben says Peter's going to need help in those pants that he's wearing. These are those comfortable ones, Tam, that you just.
Oh, I didn't even notice. By the way, they're tight.
Do you think so? These are comfortable. They're really
comfortable. The leggings, tracky bottoms.
They're like they're just these. You know, sometimes if you get a pair of trousers, you think That's great. They're comfortable. Yeah.
I didn't even notice them, by the way. They are tight.
So thanks for that.
Good spot.
And can I just say something here? One of our, I'll not tell you what his tagline is, but he says, "Hi Peter and Tam, I'm watching with a chip butty in sunny Middlesbrough." Have you been down to it? The last time I was in Middlesbrough? Yeah. The last time I was in Middlesbrough, it was to interview Paul Gascoigne. That was a long time ago, and it was great because he said to me, "Peter, I'll meet you at 12 o'clock at the training ground at Middlesbrough." And I waited there, and I waited an hour and a half after he said he was going to meet me, and I was sitting at the top of the grass, just sitting there, relaxing in the sunshine, watching Gaza. And the only reason he was an hour and a half late is because he was signing autographs for all the kids who were there, just looking at him in just wonderment at a genius.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people have got their opinion of him, but I played with him at Boston United. I lived in a hotel with him for 6 weeks, and he was absolutely spot on. Not just me, but with everybody down there. Great guy, and I can remember actually there was this young lassie. She was needing emergency cancer treatment, and she was in a wheelchair, and she was outside the game. They had buckets just collecting money for her to send her to America for treatment, for stem cell treatment. Yeah. And Gaza walked up and. Well, put maybe a £5 or a £10 in the bucket, and Gaza went, "You just wait a second." He went to the back of his car and I don't know where he gets cash for it. He bought out a bundle, and I'm no joking, there must have been about like £3,000 or £4,000, £5,000 in this bundle of 20 quid notes, and put it in the bucket, and the wee woman, and the wee lassie's ma started greeting.
Wow.
And that was Gaza.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably why he's no money. But he was generous to a fault. He would try and help anybody he could. But
I think he's still got some money.
Hopefully,
please God.
But, there's a lot of hangers on, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
And people like that. But I really liked him. I thought he was a cracking guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He was, as a footballer, great to watch, and certainly, some of the stories that one that you just recalled and others reflect a guy who was troubled at times, Tam, I have to say.
That's my pride of place in the house.
I think it's great. You'll never believe it. I've got one of his England. I've got two of his England tops, which is great, and he signed them for me as well.
Signed it to me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that type of thing. A wee bit of memorabilia never hurts anybody, Tam. So remind me.
I'm just glad that I played in America. Well,
honestly, Paul Brady says, "Did you play in America, Tam?" Right. The minute you've said it, bang, it's there. It's in Paul.
I don't know if I've heard this one, but we were playing LA Galaxy and Beckham was playing with them, and 5 minutes to go. Yes. The game, I think we were getting beat 4-2, and I just went over to the left wing. He was playing right mid for them, and I just went over, and I was just waiting for the whistle. And as soon as the whistle went, I went, "David, can I get your jersey?" He went, aye, no problem, get after. And I sat outside that LA Galaxy dressing room, and there was big bouncers and all that, and I stood and waited. They never came out with it.
Wow.
Never came out with it. Remember a guy, Terry Cook, who played with Man City?
Yes.
He played for Colorado.
Right.
And they grew up together, and
they're pals.
He got it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So
if you're watching, David,
send one.
Send one, please.
Yeah.
Signed.
If you don't mind. I always remember my great David Beckham story because when I was trackside at Radio Clyde, you were trying to get the interviews. Celtic were playing Manchester United, and I could hear the producer saying, "Here comes Beckham, try and get a word with him,"
You trying to get his jersey?
No, I'm trying to get a word with him. No, are you kidding? I'm trying to get a word with him, and he just, as I said, David, he looked at me and he smiled and he went, "Custard pie." You were never getting an interview, unless you've got some kind of exclusive deal with him. But you never know. He might be sitting there in America right now thinking to himself, "I'm going to see what's happening."
I offered to swap as well. I said, "Just want to swap?" And he went, "No."
Yeah, I don't think. With all due respect to you, Tam, some people would give the right arm to have the career you've had, but I don't think you'd be up on David Beckham's wall. Is that too hurtful?
That's quite hurtful.
Okay. Sometimes you've got to tell the truth on this show, which is really painful. Can I just say to you at this point, Tam, as I reflect on a day of football in the Scottish Premiership, what's the best result for you?
Ooh,
it's a good one, isn't it?
It is.
Remember, there's 3-3-1s.
There was, Aberdeen probably. I think Aberdeen, getting slaughtered with everyone. Changed their managers. A big result for them. Hibs away to St Mirren. St Mirren I think they've only lost one game at home this season. Yeah. They've beat Celtic at home this season. I think that's a big result as well. So probably one of those two.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I'll go for Hibs.
Yeah, you're going to go for Hibs. I can tell you, Newcastle 1, West Ham 0.
Some start.
It's just Joe Wallach scored. I mean, it's just incredible. Did you see the guy Burn replicating the Gaza line? You know,
Way to get me soup measured.
I'm happy. It was brilliant. So Newcastle take the lead in that game. It was a 5:30 kick-off in that one. That's an early goal for Newcastle. That place is going to be bouncing everybody. Can you imagine trying to get a ticket for there now? Have you been to that stadium?
No.
Have you been to any stadiums?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I'm not a big. I don't really go to games.
I must have given you the highlight of last season, surely.
I got to Anfield.
I'm saying
That
last
was good,
season. It was last year. It wasn't last season.
That was good, aye.
Anfield was great.
Plus we
Wasn't
had
it?
hospitality.
Yeah. Did you feel guilty getting back up for seconds?
Fourths. It was tremendous. I tell you what.
No, you don't.
The piece of the camera at the end was interesting.
It was actually.
Do you know? I was pretty drunk.
You were actually. It was the first time. Actually, it's the first time I've ever in my life had a sip of a glass of wine before I did a full-time report.
I had a couple of sips of pints.
Just to keep you. Just to keep you. I thought,
didn't even know the score. Did you ask me what you think of the game time? I went, oh no.
Yeah.
What was the score?
The one thing I was going to say to you is, I thought you were going to revert back to type from your Balornic days and just take the bottle of wine and drink out of it, not bother putting it in the glass.
Who did we bump into the game? Derek Riordan?
No, absolutely.
How incredible was that?
I know. I'm surprised you didn't say to me, Peter, I've enjoyed myself. I'm away with him for a night out.
That's not going to end well.
Yeah, it was great though. It was great. I mean, it wasn't a great result for Rangers. I seem to remember again, every time I go to European games with Rangers, it's always Alan McGregor who saves the day. He saved them from a real hiding, didn't he?
Aye, he was good. Rangers were terrible. Never laid the glove on them, and obviously we were on the Liverpool end.
Yeah.
With a few Rangers fans that had infiltrated.
Yes,
in front of us, remember?
Right, so they were. There was
they didn't have much to cheer about, but every time Rangers were up the park, they were.
You can always tell, can't you? There's someone there who's in the wrong end of the seat, and it's the old Billy Connolly moment. You just have to sit on your hands and think, don't move. Anyway, we will hear from Michael Beale hopefully before the end of the programme. We'll get the thoughts of Malcolm Mackay because his team put up a real fight at the Smeetsa Stadium. Stephen Robinson will reflect on a defeat for St Mirren against the Hibs side. Lee Johnson is always telling us that once he gets players back from injury and gets what he wants to put out in the park as his favoured 11, then Hibs will be looking up the table and pushing all the teams above them. Well, we have to believe him because they got a good 1-0 win away. We'll hopefully hear from Lee Johnson. And at Tynecastle, well, Robbie Nielsen, he'll be ecstatic because they get a really good win against Dundee United, albeit Dundee United were down to 10 men. What's your thoughts on that? If you're a Jambo, disappointed with midweek, but great to bounce back. Give us your thoughts on that. If you're a Celtic fan, is it possibly tomorrow a chance to see O from the start? Because there's a wee suggestion that he could start for them.
I think he'll play. I think that Kyogo's obviously played 2 games in quick succession. I think it's a perfect opportunity. You know, we spoke about it in the show yesterday. You know, you're looking for a game. You know, you get a new striker at Celtic or Rangers. You've got to hit the ground running. You know, because there's, you know, especially with social media now, you know, it's instant impressions, and I think St Johnstone away is a great opportunity for him to come into the team and maybe get his first goal for Celtic, and you know, rather than maybe a more difficult game.
Yeah, and of course, I think people, certainly Celtic fans, would like to see, they've just seen little late snippets of Iwata. What has he got to offer? He's had a couple of sub appearances, but, you know, will he start to get a run out?
Kobayashi's
another one, yeah.
It just shows you the strength and depth. You've got Turnbull there as well, O'Reilly. You know, Maeda was on the bench the other night, so listen, Celtic squad's very deep, and there's serious competition for places. Yeah, absolutely. Give us your thoughts on what's going to happen tomorrow between St Johnstone and Celtic. Coming up this week on the programme as ever, Richard Foster's back with us. Good sign. I like Richard coming on the programme. I've not been on him yet. How's his any new gear? He has got new gear. He's possibly, you know, sometimes you can see a style in people. You like to wear dark colours as well. You know, and with free gear. Yeah, well, I was just about to say to you, I know you're a cheapskate, but Richard's gear is minging. There's a great Scottish word, isn't it? I mean, it's just... but it's Christian Dior and... Well, but you don't have Christian Dior plastered all over the middle of it. What's the point in buying it then? That's what I'd have. Yeah. I'm a chav, so if I bought a Versace top, I'd want Versace there. I only want a wee tiny bit there, they would know it was Versace. I remember the photograph of you with Scott Brown and Gary O'Connor and Derek Riordan and Stephen Dobie, and I looked at that photograph and I thought,
Yep, there's 5 chavs all in a row, and I can absolutely believe that you would have that.
It was brilliant because me and Stephen Dobie used to travel. He's from Ballanark, up at the fort.
Yep.
That's where he's from, and we used to travel in together. And Dobbs' diet was an absolute disgrace. I mean, we used to stop at the Tesco and get a meal deal. He would come out with a sandwich, a pork pie, loved a pork pie, a juice after training. And it's amazing how he turned his whole career around and got to sell shape. There's no pick on him now.
Yeah. Do you ever speak to him? Because I do. He's a great lad.
He's a great lad.
But there's my catchphrase. Bang.
He is. He's had a great career. He looked as if he was going to throw it away when he went to Dumbarton, but he got his act together, went to the Queen of the South, and then got himself down to England, and he was tremendous. But he was always a great ability.
Yeah.
Remember he scored against Rangers in the semi-final League Cup. He came on as a sub. And scored, remember, great instinct finish, and then he missed a penalty in the shootout, but we beat Rangers that night. But Dobbs his quality was never in question. It was just his diet, his lifestyle, his fitness wasn't great, but sorted it out.
Yep, well, he's been on the show on more than a few occasions. It's always good to chat to him. You're watching PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel and the Saturday Football Show. Started a few weeks ago, Tam and myself just bringing you the full-time scores, reflecting on the results, the implications in the league table. We'll obviously hear from the managers as well, some of the players speaking after the game, and we should be able to bring you Michael Beale before we go off air, as well as maybe Malcolm Mackay. And as far as things are going at St Mirren, Stephen Robinson and a delighted Lee Johnson after their 1-0 win in Paisley for Hibs, and elsewhere David Martindale well happy with that Livingston win. And up at Aberdeen, I think Barry Robson will be sitting in that chair in that press room smiling, because when you're an interim coach,
He's my wee chance, Peter, didn't I get the job? Results like that.
would you give him it? Football must be the only business where suddenly you give somebody, a complete novice, a chance at a big club like Aberdeen to try and do something.
All you can do is win games, Peter, and if he wins games, then he puts himself in a position to get the job. So, you never know.
Yeah, I like Barry. He's the type of guy that you would have in your team.
If he wins 6 or 7 games now in the season and finish 4th.
Yeah, but 6 or 7 games is Aberdeen not making a decision on a manager. I mean, that would need Dave Cormack to come out and say, by the way, we're going to go with him till the end of the season. We're not going to appoint a manager just yet.
I don't think they'll go in too hasty at the minute. I think they'll leave it now. But
how long?
Another couple of weeks. I don't know Aberdeen's fixtures, but I think
another couple of weeks. You think so?
I think so.
Wow, that's a big call.
They've got to get this one right, Peter. They can't dive in.
Yeah,
they've got the last 2 wrong. Unfortunately, with Stevie Glass and Jim Goodwin. So he's got to get this one right. Dave Cormack, or else the fans are pitchforks.
Yeah, that's an interesting one that you say that, because they've obviously got...
There's no really rush, is there, Peter?
Well, they've got Celtic coming up, they've got Livingston, they've got Dundee United, they've got Hearts, and you know, and I'm stretching it in. They've got the Scottish, they're sitting there watching everybody playing the Scottish Cup. They're out. Yeah. And by the way, I must say thank you to John Gall. Have you tried the pies that you took away?
I've not tried it yet.
No, absolutely magnificent.
Might have one tonight.
Browning's Bakery is John's company, and he delivered a big box of goodies for us.
The steak and haggis ones were snaffled immediately. I seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ruffy get me and Ruffy get the dregs.
Dregs, the 2 steak pies you've got are to die for.
Okay, well, I'll give you a review on Monday.
Yes, if you can, I'll tell you what the steak and the haggis pie tastes
like. Aye. I get the Scotch pie with onion in it.
Well, with all due respect, the producers in our show are saying, where is the rest of the stuff? Because you 2 went away with a doubler. But thanks to John Gall, Darvel must be, when you look at it now, what they've got to look forward to, it's magic, isn't it?
No, they have. Listen, as I said, a real big story in Scottish football. Beating Aberdeen. They're a club that's been on everyone's radar for a while. They've obviously got a big backer with John. Putting money in. They've got a great facility down there, great changing rooms, a lovely pitch, grass park, and that result really put them on the map. In terms of nationwide. So, no, a lot of people would think that Darvel are maybe going to fade away, but I think under John Gall, it's not going to be pie in the sky.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see it coming, actually. Do you know what happened there? I could see you going around, and I thought, here it comes. It's just unbelievable.
Easy.
It was.
It was a pie.
I know.
Pie company.
Tommy Gunn says Tommy Wright would do a good job for Aberdeen. Tommy Wright just disappeared.
He did a shocker at Kilmarnock.
He did. He did, but then again, I liked Tommy.
We've done great at St Johnstone,
St Johnstone,
but then at Kilmarnock they were, thankfully they get Derek McInnes and they got them over the line in the Championship, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, nah, don't know about that one.
Okay, I'll tell you, there's a game tomorrow. Newcastle leading by 1-0 at the moment against West Ham. There's a game tomorrow that's tasty as well as St Johnstone against Celtic. It is Tottenham against Man City. City have never won or managed a draw or scored at White Hart Lane. Is that all going to change tomorrow according to Pep Guardiola?
Because they were better than us. I had the feeling always when we were there we played more than decent games, missing penalties and control the games, but they didn't need anything to punish you before. And now with Antonio Conte, the quality they have up front, the organisation, is because it's a tough opponent. So always have been the last years there. Not maybe win titles, but being in Champions League and top 4 many years. So it's a top place to go.
Yeah, Man City haven't had it all their own way with Arsenal, but I think everybody's looking and thinking, well, Arsenal have dropped the points, that's it now. But Man City have still got to win at difficult places like this.
Still got to go and get points on the board.
Yeah.
Great result for Man United. 8 points behind. Are they too far back? Possibly.
Yes.
But you never know. If Arsenal blow up, then Man United will be in the mix as well. But I just think that if Man City go and win that and they close the gap to 2 points, and it puts real pressure on Arsenal.
Yeah, I think Man United would be a tall order. 42 points, Arsenal on 50, and now with that, there's a chance again for
2 points behind if they win.
Yeah, if they win, But Arsenal would have a game in hand, So
I think they've still to play each other twice.
Yeah,
Blair could correct, make sure on that, but I think they've still to play. I think they're still to play Arsenal, Man City twice.
I'll tell you the other thing that's a big problem is the fact that Liverpool find themselves in 10th in the table. It's mind blowing. They've only got 29 points after losing today to Wolves by 3-0.
Still in Europa League places.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if they win the Champions League, they go straight back in again. Hey,
if they win the Champions League.
Well, can I just say something? It has happened before.
I will present the show naked.
Well, that is absolutely outrageous, by the way. But I'm going to
win the Champions League.
I'm going to take that bet from you, because hopefully I'll have
a pair of pants on.
Well, no, you just said naked.
I'm not naked, but I might hide my stuff.
All right, a pair of pants. Okay, the ones that I select. Exactly, do a Gary Lineker.
Liverpool win the Champions League.
Well, to be fair, if you come to the big Champions League night, I'll get you on the stage just with your boxer shorts. Okay, let's wait and see. The Scottish Premier League this afternoon was certainly the place to be for goals, because there was a good few goals about, apart from obviously the Smeets Stadium when it was just one solitary goal. But I'm looking at the games. Aberdeen, Barry Robson will be a happy man with that 3-1 win. What about Motherwell? What does Stephen Hamill say again with yet another defeat?
It's a long journey back down the road. Back-to-back defeats. Their away form's actually been pretty decent this year, Motherwell. Their home form's terrible, and if your home form's as bad as theirs, you're putting yourself under serious pressure away from home. So I think he's under pressure. Unfortunately, I know Stephen well, but it's a results game. He knows that as well. And if they continue to go and lose games, I don't think they're bottom of the league. I think obviously Ross County get beat, Kilmarnock get beat. And Dundee United get beat, so they all get beat today, so maybe that softens it a little bit, but they've got to look after their own results and not look at other ones, and they're under a bit of pressure. They've signed a lot of players, so he's maybe needing a wee bit of time for them to gel, but he needs to pick up a win soon, Peter.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the table. Dundee United are bottom of the table, and then you've got Motherwell on 20 as well as Dundee United, and then a point above them is Ross County. That win in midweek was crucial for them, but Motherwell and Dundee United have got a game in hand on them. And then you've got Kilmarnock on 23 points, and then 27 St Johnstone. And then you've got Aberdeen on 32 in 7th place. St Mirren just a point above them now in 6th position. Hibs are in 5th, just a point behind Livingston.
Livingston in 4th, I forgot about them. Yeah, as I said, I think it's going to be about the 4 of them, Peter.
Yeah.
The four teams at the bottom at the minute.
You don't think Livingston can catch Hearts? 7 points between them?
No.
No?
Nah.
It's an interesting one because...
Does 4th place get into Europe?
Fourth place, yeah, they will. They will. There's a
playoff,
there's a chance
conference
for the
league or something like that. Yep.
So the other thing I was going to say to you, just looking at this whole thing, is David Martindale would be one candidate, depending on who wins one of the cups. I think Michael Beale's too early in before you consider him for Manager of the Year. I think it's Ange Postecoglou, Martindale for me, and somebody out of left field that would be in the running.
I think that's only two.
Yeah.
If Celtic win maybe a league and a cup, or even if they win the treble, then it's going to be Ange. But
maybe even a championship manager that comes into the equation. Who would be your running right now if you were giving the Player of the Year?
Lawrence Shankland.
Yeah.
Kyogo.
Yeah.
Cal McGregor.
Yep.
And I'll give you one more. Here's one for you, Miovski.
It's a good shout. I can't disagree with you. I think from an Aberdeen point of view, with a dismal season, he has been the one real shining light. Okay, if you are just at this point thinking, well, we're almost heading off air, it's a good time to give you the quiz answer, give you a chance for the competition, and also give you the full-time scores once more in the Scottish Leagues. In the Scottish Premiership this afternoon, this is how it all finished across the key games. Remember, 5 today and 1 taking place tomorrow. It was Aberdeen 3, Motherwell 1, Hearts 3, Dundee United 1, Livingston 3, Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 2, Ross County 1, and St Mirren 0, Hibernian 1. So Rangers have reduced the gap at the top of the table between themselves in second place and Celtic in first to just 6 points, with Celtic heading to McDermott Park in Perth tomorrow to take on St Johnstone in the Championship. It was Arbroath 1, Raith Rovers 2, Hamilton 1, Dundee 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 2, Greenock Morton 2, Partick Thistle 0, Cove Rangers 1. And in the Cinch League 1 this afternoon, it was Airdrieonians 1, Clyde 0, Alloa 1, Peterhead 0, Dunfermline 2, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Falkirk 2, Queen of the South 1, Edinburgh 0. And the League 2, this is how it finished. Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Annan Athletic 2, East Fife 1, Stirling Albion 1, Elgin City 1, Albion Rovers 1, Forfar 2, Stranraer 1, and then Stenhousemuir 1, Dumbarton 1. That's how it finished in the Scottish League. And I can tell you, of the key games in the English League, the one that stands out for everyone is quite simply Wolves defeating Liverpool by 3-0. It's a big one. Jurgen Klopp watching his side sit 10th in the English Premier League. Man United defeated Crystal Palace by 2-1. It was a good win for Brighton and Hove Albion, 1-0 against Bournemouth. Brentford 3, Southampton 0. Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 4. It was the fight back from Brendan Rodgers' men. No doubt about the highlight for the people of Liverpool. It was at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Arsenal 0. Tarkowski with the header. It just had to be a header from a set piece, but I'm doing a disservice to Sean Dyche because I thought Everton played some lovely football.
I thought Everton deserved to win. I thought they were excellent, particularly first half. I thought they were the better side. Arsenal obviously came into the second half, put a bit of pressure on towards the end, but I thought Everton thoroughly deserved their win, and it just takes them a little bit further clear of bottom.
Would you consider Greg Taylor in the running? Or?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think he's been very consistent this season.
Duke?
Maybe
in the top 5 nominees.
Maybe. Yeah. You're looking at. I'm thinking about Rangers players, and I just can't off the top of my head. I thought there's been anybody that's been consistently really good. There's been Ryan Kent's played well in patches, Tillman patches, but in terms
Cholak until he picked up an injury,
would have been in the running, but he's picked up an injury. It's difficult to try and think of Rangers players who've been the top, maybe top 3 or 4 at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're being fair with that. And as you mentioned, Lawrence Shankland almost certainly, I think, is one of the front runners at the moment, closely followed by Kyogo. Nothing really.
Who was the last player at one player a year out with Celtic Rangers?
It's a great shout, Tam. I mean, it really is a good question. I mean, I can remember, I know you won't remember this, but I do, because he was such a good man and worked alongside me at Radio 4th as my co-commentator, was Sandy Jardine. And Sandy Jardine won Player of the Year at Hearts when he was 37. That's how good he was.
I think Craig Levein won. Did he not win Player of the Year at Hearts as well?
He may well have, but I'll tell you, it's such a good question, Tam. So good a question. I'm going to try and get you the answer.
Not the PFA one. The actual writers.
Well, why?
Because I know Michael Higdon won the PFA.
Yeah, but yeah,
ended up in the jail.
Yes, absolutely. I remember because Ruffy and I he just said to Ruffy and I that he was wanting to buy us a drink, and we were like, thanks Michael, and he just, next minute he was huckled out fighting with a bouncer. That's what happens, but he was a great lad. He's another one of those good lads, and of course the good thing about it is, you know, Tam, when he came up onto the stage, I absolutely slaughtered him because he was absolutely 3 sheets to the wind. But Player of the Year is the one that I think everybody likes to win.
Aye, player, aye.
You know, because it's that recognition. The last player out with Celtic and Rangers to win it was Michael Higdon, but the last player from Edinburgh to win it, oh boy, we are going back a long way. Aberdeen's Jim Bett won it, Theo Snelders, Richard Goff's won it, Jim Duffy's won it. No Hearts player.
No?
That is outrageous, isn't it? I mean, not a Hearts player won Player of the Year. Lon Shanklin certainly would be celebrated. I mean, you know, it's amazing that no Hearts player has won it when you consider wee Robbo playing for them all those years. But I have
good players there.
Yeah, I think Robbie, talking of Hearts, we've got Robbie Nielsen, his reaction to that win today for Hearts 3-1 against Dundee United.
I thought it was so poor, so poor. Tried to speak to the referee, but he doesn't want to speak to me. I have to go through the right processes to get an answer off him. I thought it was terrible, to be honest with you. Like, you know, Dundee United, I do it 10 men, but the time wasting, the goalie's kicked the ball on the pitch 2 or 3 times. The referee warns him, warns the other guys. You know, we time waste once and he gets a yellow card. Desperate to do it, desperate. And the second one, yes, you can't clap him. But the first one for me is just to go on. Nick's an experienced referee, but he's handled that situation, in my opinion, very, very, very poorly. So, but we pay the price. We'll get a man suspended now. You know, if I go through the right processes, I might get an answer from him. You know, maybe see him when he sneaks out here. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it's an angry Robbie Nielsen, isn't it? Again, you know, Robbie at times, sometimes he doesn't mince his words with referees. Nick Walsh clearly.
He likes to go to the refs.
Well, Nick Walsh is right at the forefront of it all.
Yeah, listen, we've obviously not seen the incidents, but he's unhappy at the red card for Ginnelly. Sometimes, you know, a wee bit of common sense comes into it with referees, but. You know, we've yet to see it, so we can't really comment. But if it's dissent, if he claps at a decision, I've been booked for that before. You know, it's a sarcastic, you know, clap at a referee's face. 100 times out of 100, you're getting a yellow card for that, or a second yellow. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think Robbie Nielsen certainly feels as if he was waiting on it. What about the Dundee United manager, Liam Fox?
Absolutely, yeah. So I thought that at the time. My initial reaction was it was a really, really good tackle. So it's disappointing. But listen, I'm really proud of my players today. So that performance overall was really, really good. I know that sounds silly. We've just lost the game 3-1, but they're giving me absolutely everything, and as a manager, that's all you can ever ask for. And we just need to keep believing that things will turn. At the moment, that feels difficult because we've lost a couple through injury today. We've had a couple of bad decisions, but they gave us a reaction. They gave the club a reaction. They gave the supporters a reaction after our disappointment on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, they battled with 10 men. Edwards sent off just before the half-hour term.
Yeah, it's always going to be difficult when you lose a man early doors, particularly away to Hearts. And they missed a chance for Fletcher, went through 1-1 at 1-0, which we'll probably see later on in the highlights. Yeah, let's go to Ibrox, because obviously Adam's been listening to the words of Michael. In fact, Adam's been at Tynecastle. He's usually at Rangers, but he's not there today. He's not there tonight. Season ticket. Yeah, you're going to get battered. Adam, what a game to watch.
Peter, never mind the game. I just wanted to come on and talk to you about that goal scored by Stephen Humphreys and just talk about it all night, because I don't think I've ever seen a better goal live inside a football stadium in my life. I know that life's been very short. I've only been on this planet for 21 years, but trust me, if I live for another 100, I'll not see a better goal than that. Everyone's talking about that finish. Obviously it's from his own half, but you forget he actually picks the ball up inside his own 18-yard box. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Shrugs off 2 players, wiggles in and out them, and then left foot, his weak foot, dinks the goalkeeper from inside his own half. Listen, the game was crazy. Ginnelly's red card was absolutely ridiculous. Terrible and really silly from him to clap the referee sarcastically. The red card shown to Ryan Edwards. I've not seen that one back, but it was just a game full of absolute chaos. But the icing on the cake was that goal scored by Humphreys. Peter, you need to see this. This was absolutely amazing. I don't want to talk about anything else. Let me just talk about that goal all night, please.
Can I just ask you the all-important question, Adam? Was the goal by Stephen Humphreys better than Kemar Roof's in the European competition when he went past two players and shot it from the halfway line?
You're putting me on the spot here. I think just because I'm so high off the excitement of seeing that one live, I'm going to say yes. I suppose Kemar Roofs, he does beat the two players. It's in the Europa League, but come on, there was barely any fans there, and I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see it. When the Hearts fans today, when Stephen Humphreys put that in the back of the net, and the place absolutely erupted. It was it was incredible. So yeah, I've seen this one. Well, maybe a little bit of recency bias in my selection here, but I'm going to say Humphreys over Roof. Yeah.
Absolutely magnificent, and of course Hearts put that misery behind them. Great to hear from it's brilliant, isn't it? Great to hear from Adam getting so excited there. Brilliant. He can head home and enjoy his night tonight.
He can.
He'll still be
he can go out in the pool tonight and say to a few young ladies that he's seen the best goal of his life tonight, and he might get lucky twice in the one night.
Yeah, let's hear from Michael Beale before we go on that win today against Ross County.
Oh yeah, a game of not defending a set play and then having to chase a game that was very, very comfortable before that. I have to say, I thought Malky came with a really good game plan. I thought his boys were terrific. I have to assess my own part to play in the game today as well, because I'm trying to keep one or two players happy or engaged, and obviously making 5 subs, you don't always have to do that. I'm showing a lot of faith in people, and maybe that disjointed the performance a little bit as well. I thought it was the third game in another week where we've got 3 wins. That's the most important thing. I'm still searching for a performance. The team are here at Ibrox where we take our chances, because some of our football, again, first half today was very good, but we were fussy in the final third. If you think about how ruthless we were on Wednesday, if you like, and how clinical we were at times, I think we got people taking 2, 3, 4 touches in and around the box when we should be getting our shots off, and we made the game more difficult.
Yeah, made the game more difficult for ourselves. Great, we get Michael Beale in right at the end.
Brilliant, he squeezed him in right at the end, and you got his thoughts as well, so well done.
Yeah, well done to Adam Gehring, Robbie Nielsen, Liam Fox for us as well. That's what the show's like. We've been a banter here and there, engagement with all the fans. Thanks to so many people saying great show, lads. Thanks to Paul, Blackadder, Joseph McGonigal, Niall Kane, lots of them there. The quiz answer, I can't even remember what the quiz question was. Thank God for that. How many times did the Brazilian Ronaldo
3
win the Ballon d'Or? You said 3, it's 2. That's the answer to the quiz. Thanks so much to each and every one of you for entering your competition. We'll announce the winner on Monday, and we'll launch a new competition as well. Well done to Blair and Sean, our backroom team, and of course all the reporters.
Behind the outfit.
Absolutely, you're right there.
Definitely and Sean.
All our team out there, Adam, Patrick and Kerry as well. There's lots more coming up on social media. The interviews with the managers and players coming out on PLZ Soccer's social media channels. And if you want to download the app, you'll get all the breaking news at your fingertips. Tam, absolutely brilliant today. And from Tam McManus and myself, Peter Martin, we'll see you on Monday at 4.